No, because you still count those.
Yes, because anytime I thought about it, it doesn't count. Because it's
She's like, I could get her right now. That's one.
yeah, that's it. That's still help.
So, you have to say hi.
I'm gonna screenshot.
It's not tight people. Oh boy. Usually it's going to see t-shirt. You just
Make good change.
Palmetto said, this stream is brought to you by He went to house 95. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. First, I wanna address Palmetto Church. This is a T-shirt that I usually wear on stream. The difference is that because I have the other the sisters on this stream, the screen's back a little bit further. But usually, when a screen is forward, you don't see it. But these are the same shirts. I really only wear 3 T-shirts, and they're the same T-shirt over and over and over again. Nobody just sees it because usually when I do my streams, it's like right there. But I gotta get y'all on the stream. You know what? Okay, you know, I'll put it close. Woo! Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Palmetto paratrooper. Likely story. Hey, Palmetto, I will require your deed though. You could just lay it at my feet, and we can have all things in common. And then you can go to work, and then I'll bless you with a return of the money you give me from your job. That's the way it works. And then if you dare rebel against me, we're gonna do deliverance on you, so I can then deliver, any other possessions. I mean, I'm not even I can't even blaspheme Beyonce. The other part, the idea of taking people's wives, you can't even play with that one. That thing gets you shot. Shabbat shalom, Palmetto. And I know Palmetto will shoot. It's a guarantee. Brother Gary, Shabbat shalom. Sister Sarah, Hoskins, Shabbat shalom. Sister New World, Shabbat shalom. Chicken Farmer Plus, Shabbat shalom. The Encouraging Community, Shabbat shalom. Brother Tom Sturgill, Shabbat shalom. Brother Jay Morris, Shabbat shalom. Sister Kay Morris, House of Jay Morris, Shabbat shalom, sister. Blessings to Brother Jay Morris and his house. Brother Daryl Vick, Shabbat shalom. Brother Justin Monroe, Shabbat shalom. Brother Matt K, Shabbat shalom. Hebrew Apostolic, Shabbat shalom, brother. LaFrance Hart, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Brother Chris F, Shabbat shalom. Sister Colleen, Shabbat shalom. Martell Train, Shabbat shalom. Brother Ronnie, beloved brother, Shabbat shalom. Brother G. Coffer, Shabbat shalom. Amelia, Salt and Light Gypsy, Shabbat shalom. Naphtali Jacob, Shabbat shalom. Red Pill of the Bible, Shabbat shalom, brother. Whew. It has been a day. It is Negro spiritual hot in here right now. Man. Actually, it probably is. What does it say? Oh, it is. It's 89 degrees in here. We had it hotter than this, and we haven't felt it. I think today was like 70 plus degrees here, and it felt like it was 102. Yeah, it was hot.
With the wood stove.
Yeah. And we just got some chicks. So we had the wood stove burning, low for them to stay warm, and we were still burning up. Just the way you like it, as Brother Roddy said. Oh gosh. Well, we need the chicken. Are they beeping? Okay, then And she'll stack it with wood and gasoline, lighter fluid, everything. Faith Living Homestead, Shabbat Shalom. Let me raise it. I really don't like. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. There you go. That's a lot better. Can't see you. I think when you stand up, you really.
Gosh, here we go.
When you stand up, you really reach the light.
So glad you tickled yourself.
I be having all sorts of fun with Sister Tay because Sister Tay is 4'3".
Shabbat Shalom, 5'1".
She had to step on top of the chair for y'all to see her. Encouraging community, that is not a stupid question, brother. That is not a stupid question. And no, I do not. I have never celebrated Black History Month. So I know as far as this household goes, I can't say for everybody, but as far as this household goes, no, we do not celebrate Black History Month. Not at all. Not even close. Tread on these. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Faith Living said, yes, the weather was gorgeous. It was. It was nice. This is a very unusual winter. It was freezing, and then, bam, 50, 60 degrees. The flies are back out. That's the thing I hate. I can almost deal with the heat. I can't deal with flies. Oh, Sister Amanda said she's 5'2".
Step ladder club, yes.
She said she's part of step ladder club.
I'm a 5'3".
Oh, goodness. We are not in
Oh my.
elementary school.
Back to Tanisha talking about she's 5'3" again.
I said almost.
That's so ridiculous. Like when you're not going to grow anymore, you can't say you're almost 5'3".
Is that how that goes?
Like you say almost when like I'm almost a millionaire because you're still working. You have $995,000. You can't say I'm almost a millionaire when every year you lose money.
I actually never thought about that. I said, gotcha right there. When you stop growing, you're going to never reach it.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
What happens if you have faith in you? Is that how faith works? You have faith in you, you're going to grow.
That's how some faith for most people works. I have faith that I'm going to reach 6'7". Meanwhile, you're shrinking. Sean the Navigator, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Is that me almost there?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, just Amanda said her little sister is 4'11" and 3/4. Don't take away the 3/4. She gets upset. That's the Nisha.
That's me. I'm
That's
5
that,
foot and 3/4.
That's the
I'm
Nisha.
almost
That is
5
the
foot.
Nisha.
I'm
She'll
5
bust
foot
out the
and 3/4.
millimeter and start measuring those. Brother Daryl said, choose your battle. I will not. I've already beat her because see in our household, we solved all the most deepest questions by doing paper rock scissors. If we ever have a deep discussion and we can't figure out who's right, we bust out the paper rock scissors. First of 3 wins. And then
I was legitimately able to say 5'3", and he bust out paper rock
oh
scissors.
my
and
God,
I lost.
yeah, right. She wasn't
I
legitimately saying 5'3". She was over exaggerating the 5'3". And then I beat her, and she still said she's 5'3".
No, 5'2" and 3/4.
Oh man, so the Colin said her son is 6'6".
Oh, man.
I mean, it's the same thing in your basketball career. It says you 6'4", and you probably really 6'1".
Oh.
6'1".
Okay, 6'2".
I am a legit 6'3" that
You are a
they
legit 6'2".
overinflated to 6'4", and sometimes even 6'5".
Mhm.
They over and teams would look at me like
That is not 6'4".
that is not what 6'5" win. When I throwed my hair out, I took my cornrows out and I picked that I was 6'5", legit.
Because the guys who are really 6'5", like, no, for this little guy.
Sister Colleen said she's 5'9", lost 2 inches to back surgery.
Mhm.
For Chris, that's he's 6'1". Yeah, brother Chris, I'm about 6'3". A legit 6'3", not the fabricated Tanisha version of 5'3".
I was to say you 6'3", I'm 5'3".
You're not 5'3".
Now it's just 5'3". She
No,
got rid of the 2
watch the next stream. She'll be like, I'm like 5'3 3/4. Approaching 5'4".
I mean, if Taylor's considering she's scared to 64 times and was only 3, why can't
That's a
I
good
add on a
point.
little
Those
bit
are
more
legitimate
inches?
scares.
Those are
'cause
not
those are
legitimate.
thoughts.
Oh my God.
Those are my thoughts.
Fearmonger said he's 5'11 and a half.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh.
Can't you take it on the halves and 3/4? We need them.
Oh god.
They're there for a reason. I'm 5'2".
The thing is that when they fill out a form, you know that she don't put on her drive. When I look at your driver's license, it didn't say that. It said 5'2".
That's because you
Yeah, stutter. Keep stuttering. Keep stuttering. You sound like the chainsaw.
I almost said 5'3". No, when I was writing for actually, I think one of my doctors said 5'2".
That's because you made that up.
And then this was this 5'2".
You
Because
can't
we picked our
just.
scissors and I
You
lost.
made it up.
Didn't make it up. You measured me and it said 5'3" at one point.
At one point.
At one point, when she was still on one tiptoe.
Probably.
At one point, I didn't
No,
even
zealous for
understand.
truth. We're just kind of having a friendly argument. Hallelujah. 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 Anyways, we're gonna have a small discussion. And what's the name of the stream? I always put the stream up and I don't ever remember what it's called. There it is.
What?
Biblical marriage and open discussion on the topic. And the reason why I'm having this discussion is because in the realm of biblical marriage, there has been a lot of discussion. Evan, are you going? Are you eating?
Is it fair she technically?
Okay, that's fine. So all the sisters are going to be here. We're going to try to have, it's not going to be long, hopefully. Right, this is going to be real talk. Because I'm not going to spend my time discussing, is it lawful? We've covered that. That has been beaten. That horse has been beaten. I'm not spending my time on that. That's like me getting in an argument right now. The way I look at polygyny, monogamy, marriage, it's like me discussing, is it lawful to eat pork? There's no discussion. It's not a discussion anymore. You know, I know for a lot of people, it's still something we like to bat around and things like that. But for myself, I'm not interested in those discussions. Right, Jay Moore said, as we'll talk, we're going to be here 3 hours. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit because it is, and you know, being that, I have, the sisters have been on streams and live and talked about it, and the discussion has come back around, and everyone's talking about it now, and I like to ask their input about things, especially in regards to this discussion, this topic, and because from what I've noticed, for most, polygyny is more of a male-dominated conversation. And that is good, but it is also, I think, been very detrimental. And we're going to discuss it. That's why I asked them to rearrange their rest schedules to your rest schedule. Yeah, because when I get off the stream, some of y'all, mouths open, you've been in squad traffic. You're awake. But every time I say shalom, Taylor pops up. I'm like, all right, bless y'all, shalom. Taylor like, Tanisha see through it. Tanisha, I'm feeding the baby. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not sleeping.
I'm not sleeping. I'm standing over her like, What do you call this? Taylor's, and Abby is doing what she's doing right now. Can anybody guess what Abby is doing right now?
Not really.
If you said eating, you are right. Is that the main course with the cake already next to it? Oh gosh.
I actually got the cake first.
Oh,
You get the cake first. So we want to have a discussion about this. The first thing I want to discuss very quickly is one, for me and my family. I think this is the difficult part when it comes to discussions on polygyny. Me and my family, we nobody speaks for us. And what I mean by that is on YouTube today, you have people who discuss polygyny from all different walks of life, people that are doing it, people that aren't doing it. And I want to, and being that I have the privilege of I've probably spoken to, no joke, over the past 2 years, I've probably spoken to at least 100 families. 100, let me say, maybe 70 polygynous families. And in discussing with them, all of us tend to have some of the same question marks. Now, I will say there's a particular ministry out there. I don't talk to those people. I don't ask them because, one, I would have to go through their pastor. I ain't doing that. And two, I know that they believe that they are the personification of holiness, but they're not. So I just choose not to deal with discussing with them. I'm not going to talk to a man who has to go to his pastor and ask his pastor permission, can he expand his house? I won't do it. But so the people that I've talked to, they're in this faith. They are black, they're white, all different cultures, some not even in the States. Hush, baby. And had the privilege to talk to all of them. And that's a great point. I don't consider a white thief to be in the faith. Thank you, Falma. That's a great point. Thank you. That is a great point. What faith is that? The faith of lust and then what happens is this. This is why I say I don't let anybody else speak for this family. Because when you see wife stealers out there, what kind of look does that give to polygyny? What kind of look is it? When men are wife swapping, sharing, stealing, what kind of look does that present to when people, and especially when they exemplify themselves on a major scene, like we are the example of holiness? People look at that and they say, that is some nasty shit. That's what they say. Like, why would I want to participate in that? Because here's the problem that when it comes to men talking about polygyny. When men talk about polygyny, you have to remember, unless it's going to be men with a bunch of other men, the women, we have to have these discussions so that they understand it. You know what I'm saying? This is why even online, I don't go online and I don't listen to like the Kevin Samuels type channels anymore. I don't listen to them anymore. It's because it's great we're having these discussions, but until you can talk to the sisters and men, we can address their concerns. We can address these conversations and have these conversations. It doesn't do any good. If all the men, because when I talk to most sisters, single sisters, they see polygyny as it's a way for a man to get, and it's it's a way for a man to get a ton of vagina, because that's what's presented. Am I wrong?
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No.
It's presented it's a way for a man to just amass a bunch of vagina, to have a bunch of women get on, food stamps and cash aid, and he can sit at the house and play Madden all day. That's what it. Or you get the idea of, well, the man has to be rich in order to do polygyny. And I'm like, who's saying these things? You know what I'm saying? So then when sisters look at polygyny, they say, well, the man has to be rich, or the man only wants a bunch of vagina, or the man doesn't want to work, or, which doesn't make sense, because how does he not want to work and is rich? You know what I'm saying? That's exactly it, the Hebrew alcoholic. And that was the thing that I saw, is that Kevin Samuels types are good at pointing out the problems, but not the solution. You know, we used to listen to all of them. Was it mediocre tutorials? There's a lot of people out there that know how to present the problem, but the solution is not presented at all, at all. And that tended to be the problem that I was witnessing. The solution for sisters, it's not presented to them, because what they do is they go online and they listen to a bunch of men talk about it. But fearmonger, you're saying something, brother. We know he had some sheep, but he wasn't rolling like we think he was. So first, you know, there was and I may tip over some tables here, and I'm not intending to, but I also want to address some things. See, right now there are a lot of these so-called pastors, especially who left that ministry, who came out and are preaching and all other stuff. I don't listen to any of them. So if any of you ask me, do you listen to so-and-so? He used to be part of that ministry. Now he has his own ministry. No, I don't listen to them. I will send, you know, I get sent stuff from people. No, I don't listen to these people. I don't listen to them. There are people that are positioning themselves as in polygyny it's lawful, but and then they give their personal opinion. And I will say this. That's exact Palmetto. That's the truth. Palmetto said, "I consider 3 wives more wealth than $1 million." When it comes to the topic of polygyny, these men that push monogamy, it's their opinion, first of all, and they'll try to justify it with the Bible. I don't care. It's their opinion. But second, they like to say things like, well, you know, polygyny didn't turn out right in the Bible. And I could equally make even more, I would say, a better argument that monogamy didn't work in the Bible. I can make that argument. And again, I'm not against monogamy. I'm not against any form of marriage. But when I look at, okay, let's just start from the beginning, Adam and Eve. I don't want to hear none of this. Well, what about Lilith? I ain't trying to hear that. Adam and Eve. Okay? Let's talk about some of the most wicked people we know in the Bible. Nabal and Abigail. Ananias and Sapphira. How about Jezebel and Ahab? I mean, we got some pretty bad examples, but what people will do is they'll run. Let's take a look at this. Remember when Abraham was wanting to give Sarah to Pharaoh? That was in monogamy. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not pointing and saying that monogamy is bad, but I'm saying when people make these sorry arguments, oh, well, in the Bible, it didn't turn out good. Okay, let's look at the facts today. 80% of marriages end in divorce. And this is a monogamous society.
You know what that argument sound like to me?
What?
The same argument when you tell people you're in the faith. The same argument when you tell people, oh, I follow the Bible, but I'm an Israelite, and you say you're not a Christian, and then they tell you this stupid thing. I heard an Israelite rape somebody. I'm like, I heard many Christians rape somebody. What are you talking about? I heard an Israelite did something wrong. I heard many Christians or something. What are you talking about?
Right.
How is that a legit argument?
Right. Adam and Eve got us kicked out of the garden and generated the first murder. I would say, and I'm not saying that monogamy is bad at all. It is a form of marriage. But for the polygyny is wicked, well then I'm gonna blame monogamy for all sin. All of it. Every bit of it. At this point, it's just a money thing. That's why dang near everyone has a channel now, pretending and professing they know everything, when in their real life it's not going well. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So for me, like this life is it's not a money thing. To me, when I talk about polygyny, I'm talking about marriage. It's just freaking marriage. I've heard pastors try to say you have to have a special calling from Yah to be polygynist. I was like, what are you talking about? Of course, these happen to be some of the same pastors that want you to go to them for polygyny because they want to make sure they get all the best pickings. So
We heard the pastor say that.
yeah, we heard a pastor with our own ears say that. Yeah,
the elders should get the best pick first.
Yep, elders should get first. And what happens is that perverts polygyny. It perverts it because now you're thinking, well, in order for me to be married, or if I'm a woman and I talking to a man and I like that man and I want to be part of his house, I have to go to the elders and try to make it through the gamut of the elders to make myself not look good. And I'm only speaking, brothers and sisters, I'm only speaking from experiences of sisters that have come and told me this. They thought about trying to make themselves look ugly so none of the elders would pick them, so that they could marry the man that had helped them grow, helped them progress. They wanted to be with that man, and that man wanted to be with them. But he knew the only way to be with them is to take her as a second wife, is to not be part of that ministry, or she would have to pass through the gamut of the elders and pastors and try to make herself undesirable. But then she was afraid if she did that, then they would just consider her rebellious, and nobody can marry her now. So it was going to come down to the idea of he was going to have to leave, which they ended up doing. Hallelujah. So the whole idea of monogamy and the conversation of monogamy is a better way. In which way? In which way? And it might be. It might be for you, and praise Yah if it is. Equally, if polygyny is a good option for a brother, praise Yah. But these conversations that we have today are, to me, foolish. Unless it's talking about the law. If we're having a discussion or debate about the law is lawful, which I think we've clearly showed that it is lawful. Now it's a matter of opinions. And I would say this. When the Bible talks about taking a wife, does it say how much money the man has to make? Brothers, does it say how much money you have to make? Heck, I knew of an elder who told the man he had to give up his wife to one of the leaders because the Most High didn't want them together. Oh, what? So the Bible does not say, it says we have to do take care of her. Food, clothing, conjugal rights, and that clothing covering, it means clothing and it means roof over our head. So where do these so-called people come off telling everybody how much money they have to make or what they have to afford? I've heard leaders tell them, you have to buy your wife her own car, and if you can't, then sisters, leave him alone because that he don't even got enough money to take care of himself. And I'm like, see, this stuff perverts Yah's ways, and it perverts, and all you lying ass niggas out there, and I mean what I say when I say that, you lying ass niggas out there who be saying this shit to these sisters, you're going to be judged for the fact that a lot of these women are still single because they've been following your bullshit. There are sisters that would love to be covered, but these standards that these men put out there. He has to be able to buy you 8 horses, and you have to live in a mansion, and you have to drive the fanciest cars. Otherwise, he can't afford you. And shit, I'll tell you, hey, if you need 8 horses, you're right, I can't afford you. You need 1 horse, I might not be able to afford you. I'll get you a donkey. I'll get you a goat. I'll buy you a saddle. You can ride that thing. Leaders saying ish like that because they don't have anything to offer but money. So they focus on the trait to make themselves look good. Let me put that up there. Let me put that up there. That is so good. They tell the young men, Young men, you shouldn't be looking to get married. Wait until you're 35. You know, the seed is still good. You know, you ain't, yeah, you know what, why they saying that? Because they know that these younger sisters, you know, the fine, sexy ones, 19 and 20, might be considering dudes that are 25, 28, 30. You know what I'm saying? So these men that are older, they don't want to have to cover a woman that's, you know, mid late 30s. They want to cover the 19-year-old. Shit, some of these groups want to be covering women who are not even 18 yet, to keep the shit real. If you know what I'm saying. Right there, yeah. They bride prices paid to the pastors and elders and leadership. That shit went to the father or the man taking care of her. It didn't go to just some random man, you know, draw a name of a hat. And John, you get the bride price for Sally. Sally's like, that's not even my dad. Sally's dad's in the church like, what about me? John's like, got it. Bingo. It's that bullshit right there. Yeah, I hate the people that say you have to be affluent for polygyny. Wouldn't that make the woman the head? Absolutely. Oh, fearmonger. Oh. What did you? Yeah, there it is. That makes the woman the head. Now she gets to dictate and make mandates. Here's what I see in the book. Can you take care? And what I mean by take care is meet the biblical requirements for that woman. If the answer is yes, and she wants to be part of your house, ball game. Well, and you ask the father if she's in her father's house. Ball game. But what about, there are no whatabouts. There are no whatabouts. This stuff is foolish. Remember, Chris has said betting on those. Wisdom and knowledge will be the strength of the times. Isaiah 33:6. Not money and wealth, wisdom and knowledge. And in that wisdom and knowledge, you know, these men today can see what's coming in the world. I mean, shit, America we just bombed, you know, some of the proxies of Iran. We know where this world's going. We know where it's going. But these conversations, I want to just speak on these conversations that are being had. Let me see. Okay. Wait a minute.
On Project 5G.
Is
he saying Biden?
Bidenomics. Brother Gary said, Chris, it comes down to this. Everyone has an opinion. All of them are meaningless. The only thing that matters is Yah's opinion. Brother, that is the truth. Let's see if I can find that one. It's amazing how many opinions. There you go. I saw Dundon said I didn't need a credit score. Yeah, you're doggone right, brother. My credit score was not an 850. It was not an 850. In fact, my house wasn't even completely built when Ebony came. Still not completely built. Was not completely built. So what do you got to say about that? This is why, and Brother Gary hit it, these opinions that people have are foolish. And what they're doing is that they are infecting women. Because what they're trying to do is sway the minds of women to only consider what they have. So you got men talking about, I'm a high value man. Well, compared to Kevin Samuels, I don't even have a value. If we're gonna base it on his standard, a high value man has, well, I guess I'll be budget. I'll be budget. I'll be in the clearance rack. But if I'm happy and the sisters are happy and the children are happy and they're fed and they're cared for and they're healthy, what does it matter what anybody else thinks? This is what I mean. I have not ever let somebody else tell me what the Bible is supposed to mean for me. The law says what it says. And the decisions that we make after that are on us. So I don't listen to these other pastors that left that ministry who may say positive or negative things. I just don't care. But what is bothersome today is that we have a lot of people talking about polygyny. And there are so many various things, because brothers, we have to get this understanding. It doesn't matter how many times we back the idea back and forth to each other. Until our women, the women, get to see examples, most of these women don't even know what example of a good marriage is, much less polygyny. And all they see is men talking about something. And in some cases, you have men arguing, fighting, cussing out women, and these men are single. You got single men cussing out single women, telling them how that, and I'm not even joking, talking about how foolish and how they're going to hell. You're telling single women they're going to hell, and you must be a bitch and you must be a hoe because she doesn't agree with polygyny. Well, guess what? Most of us that came to this, to the truth, to the understanding of what the Bible's saying, we disagreed with it when we first came here. We said, I don't understand this. So this shit sound crazy. It sounds crazy. How many women, just if your husband gives you permission, how many women at one point thought the shit sounded crazy to obey your husband, to literally obey your husband? How many sisters today, right here in the chat, with your husband's permission, believed at one point in time it was crazy to obey your husband? Go ahead, raise your hands. You didn't think it was crazy? Huh? Oh, you're right. Look at Sister Amanda, wave your hand. Brother Chris F said, all SoCal white women. Tom Meadow said, all of them. Martel Trent said, I see the example every time I see you. Hallelujah. I have never seen that in person. I have seen countless women, countless, hate the idea of obeying their husband. I've talked with some of them. They've learned from the channel. And then you come to find out that they say, a year later, I find so much peace. I find so much peace obeying my husband. I find so much joy. All the burdens that I used to carry, I don't have anymore. But, a year or two ago, she hated it. Now imagine what would happen if we as men, because, one thing I love about my brother Alex, bless you, brother Alex, whether you're in the chat or not, is brother Alex always brings back the responsibility to where it's supposed to go. Men. How many examples, righteous, good, and I'm not saying righteous as in perfect, because one of the misconceptions that I see all the time in the faith is a monogamous marriage can be as jacked up as all jacked up. But in order for people to agree with polygyny, every polygynous family has to be perfect. I thought somebody sent me a comment and said, when it comes to polygyny, this person only knew one family that the women seemed like they're happy. I'm like, why don't we ever say that when it comes to monogamy? We don't ever say that woman seems like she's happy. But when it comes to polygyny, suddenly all the judgments come out. All of them. They all have to be happy. They all have to, come on, plaster on that fake smile. The one like you've been brainwashed by me. There it is. That's that was perfect. the smile that doesn't look like you exist anymore. You're just a shell of a person. That one. The red pill says it comes from the devil. This hating the idea of a man. Right. A big problem with polygyny is that people have to hide it unusually for the fear of legal action or CPS. See, but in today's culture, we have polyamory. We got men having children with other men, and adopting children and women who's really a man having a child with a person, people injecting sperm in her eyeball trying to get pregnant and eggs being taken from chickens. And we got so much stuff. See, they kind of opened the door though with all this poly. I was reading a Yahoo article about this poly family. It was like 3 dudes and 2 women or something like that. And one of the women was single, brought her child in, and everything. I mean, we live in a time today where people are changing sexes. It's jacked up. It is jacked up. Right. Hebrew alcoholic. Right, and 80% divorce rate is no problem. No problem at all. We were talking in here, and in this household, every single one of us adults has experienced either separation because the parents weren't married or divorce. Every single one of us. Every single one of us. So, a lot of people, when you look at like ideas of polygyny, you have, who's that one dude that just he was in a child, you remember we read the articles based out of St. Louis? And then he was in jail for child molestation, and then they were trying to look for those girls, those women that were, that cult. That's what they think. They think cult. Women are held against their will. They're being terrorized. The children are being, molested. What was that? Yeah, sexually abused. Yeah, that's what they see. There's no good example. None. Today's culture is so trash, but leave it to America to go after a righteous situation. Right. Yes. Yep. You see. Yeah. The Mormon polygamists. Go ahead and say it.
Saying you always have the Mormon polygamists in the news raiding their camps, getting hundreds and hundreds of children out because a man is married to 200 women.
Right.
Those stories, every other month or so.
Right. And then it's always somebody escapes the compound. Who's like this.
They literally have a TV show for escaping polygamy.
Oh my gosh.
For Mormons. So.
Right, says the Colleen said, but Epstein Island is okay.
Right.
Right. Right. So when it comes to people, and then like when they ask me like, your wives don't ever fight. What?
Record it?
Yeah. Should we record a fight? So the next we're gonna record a disagreement so that I can post it on YouTube. People, it's marriage. It's marriage. They're not held against their will. In fact, I just made sure one of the sisters connected with her family. I don't understand this though. This stuff is a mess. But why? Because whenever you hear the word polygyny, you usually see some crazy ass dude who takes people's lands and deeds, or you see some Mormon cults, or you see some dude who, and they're always linked with the Black Hebrew Israelite movement. And people say, well, you're a Black Hebrew. No, the hell I'm not. Don't even say that shit to me. Goodness. Look at this. Tread on D said, YouTube is putting horror stories from Utah in the algorithm lately. Look at this. J.S. Batcher said, bless you, brother. 2 people in a room will eventually disagree on something. Right. Eventually. You have people who have lived different lifestyles coming together. There's going to be disagreements. Husbands and wives disagree with it. Children disagree with it. I mean, and suddenly when it comes to polygyny, the standards are so high. Like, you guys can't fight. You can't have a disagreement. You can't, nobody can ever go to bed upset. Never go to bed upset. You got marriages where it's one man and one woman, and you talk to the woman's like, I feel so unfulfilled. And everyone says, girl, it's okay. I was there. If it's polygyny, people say, leave. Get out of there. He's holding you against your will. Like, it's kind of hard to hold the sisters up against their will when they each own their own firearm. And they could probably hold me against my will.
I know they make it sound like.
Wait, talk a little bit louder so I can hear you.
Yes. They make it sound like you're being abused.
Yes.
And if it's polygyny, like if you have any difficulty in that marriage, it's like abuse. So run, leave. Somebody's coming after you.
Right.
You have difficulty in marriage all the time with just one-on-one, and people fighting. And all I used to hear growing up, oh, that's just part of marriage. Me and so and so in a different room. It's just part of marriage. Uncle, auntie fight. Oh, it's just part of marriage.
Mom and dad don't even sleep in the same bed together.
No,
it's just part of marriage. That's just normal.
It's just normal. Well, they bopping each other. It's just normal. It just happens. Sometimes people get mad.
Yes, it's maddening. So we have these discussions about polygyny, and they're not, it's almost like they're not full, they're not complete, because there's a lot of things to consider when you're talking about the terms polygyny. Some of the things you have to consider, brothers, is that when we're talking about it, I'm gonna get what people are gonna say. You're talking about race. Again, let me tell you, I strive for biblical correctness, not politically correctness. You're talking to a guy who's never voted, so you're not going to get political correctness out of it. Yeah, you can find it. You didn't say anything. You just ate. Some of the things that we have to understand is, brothers, especially because we're talking to sisters, we're talking to women. The conversation that we're having is women. I'm going to be real. Oftentimes, women don't want to see your ass. They don't want to see me. They don't want to hear the man speak about it. Well, that they should, and that they need to honor the men. Well, that's a great argument to have. Now, let's look at it in the factual sense. This is one of the reasons why we have Taylor, we have Ebony here. Let's ask a question to both of you. Okay? But have your phone. You logged in? You logged in? Okay. I want you to write the answer in the chat. Write it in the chat. When it came to polygyny, who was more influential, hearing about polygyny from me or Tanisha? And then any sister in the chat. Huh? So you're doing that little cheat texting. It's cheating. But I'm gonna turn the blind eye to it. That's right, JS Badger. One is nearly socially accepted whoring. The other is an intentional community with some clear understandings. And we know how Tay felt about the widow in the woods.
Why are you going to bring that up?
In fact, tomorrow I'm going to have her stand the exact spot that I was. We were just talking about this earlier. I'm going to have her stand the exact spot.
That was written in one email, never mentioned, but he remembered that.
I have the email and I bolded, italicized, underlined. All right. Sister Colleen said, Tanisha. Sister Rachel said, hearing the women talk positively about it. Listen, this is important, brothers. Sister Ebony said it was influential to hear from both. But here's the thing. They always hear the men. We hardly hear the women. We hardly ever hear women talk about this marriage, this form of marriage, in a positive light.
Nothing.
No, you were called the crazy man. Thank you, Hebrew Rapaholic. Let me put that on the front screen. Taylor, can you read that for me? Can you read the comment that Hebrew Rapaholic said?
I'm so invested in what you're saying.
No, you're not. You come on now. You ain't wrapped in that much. I'll read. You were called the crazy man in the woods, bro, Chris, until she saw the wife with you, if I recall correctly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Fearmonger said, my wives, that's plural, says it's been nothing but a blessing. Women want to hear from women. I'm going to go a little bit further, brothers. I'm going to go a little bit further here. All right? This is going to get racial, which everyone calls racial. Women that are of color want to hear from other women of color. Am I lying? The same way white women would like to hear it from white women? People want to hear it from people that look like them, have lives like them, have histories like them, think like them, maybe have experienced the same traumas as them. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. We're trying to convince people who don't look like us, as far as the color goes, and aren't even the same sex as us. Of course, the average woman who hears men talk about polygyny is going to say, well, of course, that's just more pussy. Excuse my language. That's what they're going to say. Hispanic women may want to hear from a Hispanic woman when it comes to that. But hold on a second. But what good is it going to be if I throw up, if I say, Tanisha, come look at, what's the show you were watching with the Cody Brown? What good is it for me to throw Tanisha? Tanisha, I want to teach you about polygyny. Let's look at what sister wives. She's like, it's not even the same faith. They don't look like me. What the family style's not the same. What good is that going to do? Go ahead. What are you gonna say now?
I'm gonna say it helps to listen to somebody who you could say someone who could say, "Oh, that's my friend or my aunt," or someone who really is living. I'm gonna say living your life, but in the same path as you. If they can figure it out, it's not so foreign.
Yes. Fearmonger said it should be easier for Black Israelite women to come to polygyny because it's in our spirit and DNA. I absolutely agree, brother. Absolutely. It should be easier. But what happens is that when they think about it, brothers, when you log onto the internet and if you type in polygyny, you're gonna find who Nature Boy? Is that his name? That crazy ass dude? Yeah, Nature Boy, Polite. Yeah, polite.
Polite was easier for me personally. When we first found it, he was still easier.
That dude was touching. He was
When
touching.
we
And
learned
then
that,
you hear
we
his
know
example.
that. Yeah,
he was messing around with one of the wives. Well, allegedly from. I haven't looked at all the information yet. So, but allegedly, it was he was messing with one of his daughters or one of his wives' children that she brought in. She had brought in a child. He was messing with her, underage. So there's another great example. And then the Nature Boy. I don't know what the hell he was doing. That dude, he was getting kicked out of the whole country. Something like, shit, the whole country kicked you out.
The thing is, it's easier for me to hear from other people, but you do want to see an example like that because you're not sure how these other cultures relate to you. Like what
right.
It doesn't fully, you don't even understand me. You feel like that. But once you kind of get the hang of it, now you can hear information.
Dun said it's not alleged. He's doing prison time for it. Well, it's not alleged. Whoa, shoot. Shoot. Well, I didn't, I wasn't very fond of him anyways. He was very, very, very much against the Most High. Polite. He was very Egyptian. Very Egyptian, very Timidish. When you
first seen it, more videos he put out, you're like, got way out.
Yep. Sister K said, well, I'm white as a saltine, and all the videos from this channel help me, but I'm probably not the average. There's no influence in our region that's pro-polygyny. See, there's so many, and she's right, because, I've had sisters from all different, cultures, colors, hit us up on the channel like, thank you, I just didn't think. But, I've talked with sisters, or white women, sisters, and they're like, I love the sisters, but it was good to see women do it. And it opened up my eyes to be able to, she said, because for her, it was tough because everyone, when she looked at polygyny, you're looking at Mormonism. You're going to fall into Mormonism or some David Koresh-like cult. Oh, yeah, or polyamory. You'll be with a man, another girl, their dog, their cat, and it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. People are marrying the ocean now, so it's only a matter of time. You got polyoceanic. I don't know. I'm surrounded by brothers. Pretty much none of them think think polygyny is a good idea. See, and that's a tough one. Being surrounded by a bunch of good guys who don't think it's a good idea because people don't understand it. And then, it's easy to speak against something when you don't understand it. So for a lot of different cultures, they, you know, I've talked or Tia's talked to we talked to couples where the man expanded his house, and the woman said, you know, I enjoy, you know, I learned a lot from all the different cultures. She said, but as a black woman, you want to see black people doing this because, you know, her words, you know, white women are freaks, so they're already go for that. But for black women, you know, it's a different thing. I'm like, well, first of all, black women can be freaks too, so don't get that twisted. Don't get that. But second, you know, what I was making? Why you over there? Why you way over there? People want to hear from people, and it is a form of tribalism. You know, we are tribal. You know, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Because I have a question. How happy were you to no longer be called a crazy man in the woods? You know what, brother? He be rapperaholic. I might have to bring you onto the stream. Or I'm gonna have to bring Taylor. Taylor, how should I answer that question, Taylor? How should I answer the question about being a crazy man in the woods? Man, you getting comfortable, yeah.
She said, well,
I can never understand how men could be against polygyny. That's disgusting. Fearmonger, it is. It is so confusing when you see men fighting against it. You're like, I guess you can. But I think also I think a lot of these men are trying to be like the white knight. You know, they're trying to ride in and save these women because a lot of these same men I'm sure would sleep with the woman and make them a whore. You know, and leave them.
oh,
Okay, thank you. Chicken Farmer Plus corrected me. Mormonism doesn't practice polygamy. It's the offshoots of the Church of Latter-day Saints that does practice polygamy. The Mormon Church condemns the practice of polygamy. I'm gonna put that up there. Chicken Farmer Plus, thank you for your correction, brother. Thank you. You know, it comes all these, you know, groups. You know, I can't get confused easily. Thank you very much. I'm gonna leave that up there so I can stand corrected. As an Israelite, I want to see Israelites doing polygyny because I understand math and how the size of your family increases your security. It sure does. It sure does. look at how Lamar said. Nothing wrong. Let me read that to you. Nothing wrong with being crazy man in the woods. I aspire to actually be one. If by crazy you mean separating from the system. Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely.
Snap, snap, snap. Yes,
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna do the fist pump. Oh, most women would rather you cheat on them than to submit to the order of the scriptures. Polygyny takes away from the hiding of relationships and chaos, and we know which gender enjoys chaos more. Which gender? Don't even. Oh my gosh! Here we go. Here we go. She's thinking hard, everybody. I have seen men that are known players and still hate the idea of polygyny. Do not understand it either. I think that's because they don't want the responsibility of having to teach, of having to communicate, of having to be responsible, play referee sometimes. Definitely be. I think responsibility is the bigger issue. A wife is way different. The requirements of a wife. What does the Bible say? The requirements of a side chick are what? Yeah. She gets visitation. Many hands make light work. Absolutely. So I just wanted to discuss some of these things. First and foremost, the idea of polygyny is not new. You know, these things that we see on the internet, these discussions that we see on the internet, if you actually take your time, there are many books. You know, there's a guy, and if he's listening, or if he's not listening, I want to give a shout out to Hondo Solomon. He's been writing about polygyny for I don't know how long, way before, you know, it was mainstream, I guess you could say. You know, he was studying it and traveling around and kind of brought it to a more prominent light. But the idea of polygyny, we treat it as if it's brand new, as if it just came out. I know people that are third, fourth, fifth generation living there. And we get to it and we're like, it's brand new. Whoa, like somebody brought the truth out. The truth was already out. It's just social media has made it so it's easier to spread it. These people didn't have the access to social media. You put them on YouTube and they're like, what the hell is this? Why am I looking at myself on my phone? Like, it's a YouTube video. But one of the reasons why I have a tough issue with people and polygyny is because some of the biggest voices of it are people that don't do it. And then they promote their idea of something that they're not living. You know what I'm saying? I've heard people say, well, a man, I heard someone talking about polygyny as far as finances. You have to be rich in order to do polygyny. And you look at the deal like, well, can you show me an example of that? Oh, I just got one wife. Wait, what? You've got so much to say about that brother over there and how he's doing his family, and you're not even doing it. You know what I'm saying? And these are the people that have loud voices. These are the people that people go to hear them talk about this thing. And it kind of reminds me of like BLM. I'll say it's like BLM. Black Lives Matter. You can't stand that organization. Black Lives Matter acts like they speak for black people. And I'm like, first of all, ain't no lesbian triad speaking for me. But they act like they are the voice for black people. And yet I disagree with 95% of what they say. The 5% that I do agree with has nothing to do with being black. But yet these are what people look at and voice as they are fighting for us. And yet they're when you listen to them speaking, like you're doing more harm to every single person of color than you are good. You're telling people literally, you can break the law, fight, run, get shot, and then whine about it. When I have learned, I mean, I've had quite a few run-ins with police, especially in my younger years. Most times, not every time, I had some bad run-ins. Most times I was respectful. You know, you get pulled over. When the cop comes to your car, you don't be like, what the hell you doing in my car, bitch? Get out my window. No, don't let me get out this car. I'll whoop your ass. That dude is going to serve you a full helping of ass whooping. What I usually do is I put my hands out the window. He'll come, you know why I pulled you over? You can put your hands in the window. You know why I pulled you over? Shit, I was probably going 80 and 45. And then he laughed. I remember one time I was going 120. I was flying. And I was open road between California. It was in the desert, you know what I'm saying? And I used to do street racing, so I opened up. And I was flying. I came over a hill and I saw him. He was in the cut. And I went flying past him. And I knew, plus all the lights turned on. I was like, Chris, you have two choices now. You hit 140 and you try to outrun this dude, or just pull your ass over. So I pulled over. I was over another dip, and I pulled over, and he came flying. I guess he thought that I decided to gun it, so he came flying over the hill and passed me up, thinking that I was gone, and then pulled over, probably about maybe 600, 700 yards ahead of me, and backed up to me real slow. Came to me, sitting in the car. I could see, I was like, he's probably looking in this rearview mirror to see if I have a gun or something like that. He came to my car. He's in front of me now, and he said, you know why I pulled you over? I said, well, technically, I kind of pulled myself over. I knew what you were going to. I knew what you wanted. He starts laughing hard, and he gave me a ticket for 100 and an 80, even though I was going 120. They say he caught me at 127. I was going 127 and an 80. Well, I don't know what the speed limit was on that highway. I think it was I think it might have been 75. When you're leaving California going into Arizona, it's just open road. He said, the reason I'm giving you a break is because you saved me from having to do this chase. So I realized, a lot of the times you're just respectful to them. I mean, again, we've had our run-ins that weren't good, but when sometimes you kind of forget that a lot of these are just people and they have bad days just like you do. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't let them speak for me. BLM. So a lot of these guys that get on the internet and start speaking polygyny talk, they have no understanding. They can explain the law of it really well, but doing it, it's just theory. You know what I'm saying? And people listen to them and take their information. Women listen to it. They take the information, and then these women get confused, and then they end up going to a real polygynous family and asking that in that family, or they'll go and talk to a brother who's living it, or a brother that's maybe talking to another sister, and the information they get is completely different. I can't tell you how many of these families I talk to have women that come to them with information they got from some channel online of people who don't live it, and are giving them information that is opinionated. He has to be able to buy each one of you a car. A lot of this opinionated stuff comes from either pastors or men who aren't doing it. And they have these crazy standards of something that they don't live. And it destroys it. Fun fact, normal car tires are only rated up to 90 miles per hour. The central, I'm going to have to call my dictionary for that word. Taylor, what does that word say?
Centrifugal.
Okay, the centrifugal force generated going faster than that can literally take them right off the rims. You are blessed indeed, bro. Thank you, brother. You knew it up. You saw the word. You saw the word. You were like, I'm waiting for it. Wait for it. Here it comes. Here it comes. There it is. You knew that word. Woo.
Stop and say, uh-oh.
Centrifugal. Okay. Okay. Centrifugal. Okay.
People have a distortion.
You had to break it down into the syllables. Or the only other polygyny examples they've ever heard of have been from that one ministry in Tennessee. It's a scary prospect the way they present it. Absolutely. Sister Rachel, absolutely. It's fearful for a lot of them. The way they present it. I value women. I value the sisters that I have here are amazing. They are amazing. They're capable. They have their emotions, and you're gonna have them with one wife. You're gonna have one with one wife. And sometimes people say things like, "Well, if it's that bad with one wife, I'd hate to have three." I'm like, the wonderful thing about when you have more than one is they can talk to each other. They can talk to each other and get information from each other and comfort each other. When, let's say I rebuked one, girl, you love you, shut up. That's what I call it. Girl, you're being stupid. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna be stupid, and then when you're done being stupid, you're gonna come out of this, and then you're gonna have done damage between you and him. Don't do no damage. Let's go for a while. Let's go get some leave. Let's go run a hill. Something real good. You have that. Two is better than one, for there's a great reward for their labor. It's good to see you and your family. Always happy, brother. Praise Yah. Brother, it is wonderful. Well, we have our difficulties. Do we not?
Yes,
we have our difficulties. We have times where, one person wants to go for a walk by themselves, and I'm like, oh God. Where one person, maybe having family time, and I hear, coming over Oh, and when you live this far out here, sound travels. So you hear in the distance. I'm like, who called the ambulance? Who's getting taken this time? And they rush down here with the gurney and load the person on the ambulance and take them away. I'm like, I'll see you in a couple days. And then usually after you say something like that, they get over it. I'm like, it wasn't that bad. Isn't that right? High five. I'm only doing that because I love you. Chris, if I was to get remarried, it would be a household like yours. I'm just saying, but I'm too old now. Bless you, Sister Colleen. I am absolutely honored for you to say that. It is an absolute honor. I mean, it's not easy. Taylor, has it been easy?
You said that way. Does anyone notice any more gray hairs?
What, gray hair? You have a couple. You getting up there. You want to know I named my gray hairs? This one's name is Taylor. And I want to present this also. Sister Taylor didn't come from the faith. I'm not saying you run out there and start snatching women up. But if people outside of this faith can get it, can understand the benefit of it, why can't the people in the faith? And I believe it's because a lot of these sisters don't have the example. They don't hear, I think a lot of times, and this is my personal opinion, brothers. This is my personal opinion. I think a lot of the times men are afraid to give their wife that opportunity to speak is because they're afraid what they're going to say. They're going to be like, yeah, shalom. Yeah, brother Chris is wonderful. Then it was SOS with their blinks. Are they doing Morse code? People are afraid. People are afraid of what their wives are going to say or something like that. I don't have that fear. I don't have that fear. I think it's just it's. I think men should have the opportunity to hear. Sister Amanda said pre-recorded messages only. Well, he's holding the camera, Sister Amanda, like, you better say this. Mm-hmm. Whenever they re-record it like 5 times, you didn't smile big enough when you said my husband is honorable. Or some people use the idea of like, I want to put my wife out there to try and recruit another woman. It's like, that's not it either. You don't, you're not sending your wife out there to be a recruiter like it's college. You know what I'm saying? Because then the woman ends up liking the friendship and don't want nothing to do with you. Brother Chris, do women outside of the faith have an easier time understanding marriage? Woo! Sister Tanisha. Huh? Tanisha, can you come here? Here's the quiz question. Or is it safe? Oh, wait. Actually, I have a question. When do you think it's appropriate to have a woman be a concubine? That's a great question. I'll answer that one too. All right. Hebrew Rapaholic said, from your experiences also, and I want you to be able to give an answer while I hold this gun. I'm joking.
I was like, where?
Blink 3 times. Harassed. Blink 4 if you're scared for your life.
You'll be the one blinking.
Yeah, I'm like, no, not you. I'm like, wait a minute. What makes everybody assume I'm not a prisoner? Why did I ask that question? Maybe I'm the one forcing a laugh. Okay. Do women, in your opinion, okay, do women outside of the faith have an easier time understanding marriage? We'll say marriage and then polygyny.
Outside of
have a better job understanding it. Speak a little bit louder.
Understanding marriage in general, in my opinion, no, because most of us came from outside of the faith, and I've seen us have the same issues as the people of the world. So no, aren't we outside of the faith before we came into it?
I was gonna say Hebrew alcoholic. I would say for myself, what I have noticed is the women in the faith have the identical problem as the women outside of the faith. The only difference is I found myself having a harder time with women so-called in the faith, because women inside of the faith cover their sins with head coverings in the Bible, while a woman outside of the faith will be a little bit more open and honest. She doesn't really know what to cover.
I was going to say women outside of the faith and women in the faith before they get really taught are the same, but women outside of faith don't have any shame, so it's easy to see all of their issues up front and address them. Whereas if you first come to the faith, if you hear the doctrine, even though you have not yet changed, all the doctrine, you cover up all your issues, you get all your excuses, your reasonings, or you tend to think
you bury them all.
The blood of Yahshua Jesus covered everything. So you tend to not know how to open back up to show your flaws, to get them addressed properly, once you already kind of thought Jesus covered everything. So then they become the harder ones to deal with versus the opposite.
That is dead on. That's what I was saying, that same exact thing, is that women outside of the faith, they don't necessarily know what to hide because they're just coming to the faith. So they may come in and say, yeah, I think this and I believe this. And, that was one of the things that, that was really refreshing with Taylor, is it was a little bit easier to just tell her what the issues were because she didn't know what to hide. So it's not like okay, I need to hide my pride, or I need to hide my rebellion, or I need to hide. No, for her, it was just normal everyday living. And people would say, that's terrible. I think what's terrible is the person that is acting like they're holy. They get around your friends and your brothers, and they act like they're holy, and then they get home and they beat the shit out of you as a man. It's easier when the woman's like, I don't really know what submission is, and I'm learning submission, because it's easier to say that's not submission and here is submission. But when they have the religion, I'm telling you, religion is hell. It covers not the blood of Yahshua, not they repented from their sins and turned away from them. They just cover everything with a head covering and a skirt, especially because a lot of these sisters end up in these ministries where they're told, you're holy if you listen to your pastor, you're holy if you put on a head covering, you're holy if you put on a skirt, you're holy if you, memorize the 10 Commandments, you're holy if you learn how to sew, you're holy if you learn how to make soap, you're holy if you know how to make, essential oils, they tell you all these things, but the man's miserable. So these women chase these superficial things, and the inside of them, they are still that same person they were in the streets. Just give me a girl straight off the streets then, if that's the case. Because I would rather have a person that's just wide open with their sin, and I can have an open, I'm not talking about she comes into my house, you know what I'm saying, but a conversation of, I'm interested in your household. At least the fact that I can tell you this is sin. But you can't tell nobody it's a sin anymore because they have the Holy Spirit. Everyone's got the Holy Spirit. Everyone does. You'll be talking with them, and they'll break out in song service and speaking in tongues. In the middle, you're rebuking them. They'll say, I don't have to listen to you because my king told me, showed me, prophesied to me. You know what it's like to talk to a woman and then she starts prophesying to you in the middle of a conversation? You're like, I've had some of the craziest shit happen to me. I'm traumatized. I really am traumatized. You talking to somebody, huh?
Yeah, right.
No, not her.
No, I came from the street.
Yeah, Tisha came from the streets. So she was just straight up. She came literally straight from, not the streets like she was hoeing, but I'm saying, the difficulties of talking and, yeah. But you know how hard it is, you trying to talk to somebody and they start breaking out song service? Like,
I have seen that before, though.
Literally. Like,
I have seen
they will break out in song service.
Yeah, like you, like almost like they're trying to worship.
Or they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, you'll be rebuking, and they'll be like, hallelujah, I ain't gonna let the devil bring me down. You're like, did you just call me the devil? And the devil's always trying to steal my joy, trying to steal what he can't have. Devil, you can't have it. I'm like, yeah, he's looking at me. He's saying this. So it's that religion, or they have the credibility of the pastor. You know, the pastor tells them what to do, and the pastor. So you're always having to break. Tread on decent. I thought you literally meant from the streets.
Oh, shoot. No.
The streets were, from the hood. We were,
God.
she came from the hood, I came from the hood.
The hoods of California.
Yeah, the hoods of California.
No, heck no.
She was street walking.
No corners. I mean,
She was street walking. I said, "You want a head cover and a skirt?"
Right? No. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think about that.
I like what Brother Gary said. Chris, whether it's this topic or any of the others you discussed in the past, religion is full of bullshit. You got to read the book and you got to do the book. Forget all the other bullshit. That's exactly it. Is that people don't read the book. And when you're dealing with it, it's like, talking to a person that doesn't know the word of Yah is a lot harder than talking to a person that will swear they know it. You know what I mean? Just think about you in nursing. Talking to somebody that may not know anything about a particular topic, isn't that a lot easier than talking to an ordo? You're trying to tell them, like, no, you probably shouldn't cut that femoral artery because you're probably bleed out. Well, I know because I studied at the College of Niggonomics. I know Niggonomics, and this is how we cut right here. And the person's dying, and then they want to call you help. Help! You just gonna sit there and stare at me? Yeah, I kind of am. I want to see you pass out first. I want you to feel this one. Like, what do you do to those people? Because everybody knows. Everybody knows Yeshua. Everybody knows the book. You talk to sisters, and it's like, and they'll argue with what the Bible says. Argue with you about what the Bible says. Sister, you're supposed to submit yourself to your husband and everything. Nah, that's not what that's not what the Spirit showed me. You can't fight with the Spirit, I guess. Spirit wins once again. Anytime you don't like what's being said, you get the Spirit. It's just the Spirit, and it's in your mind. But what do you tell that person? Because you can't, as a man, supersede the Spirit. Ever. What do you say? What do you say when a person says that the Holy Spirit told me? What do you say to that person? You're listening to a wrong spirit, sister. You're trying to say that my God is false? Well, yes, but you're not talking about Yahoo. You're not talking about him. You're talking about the God that you've been serving your whole life. How do you convince them of that? How do you tell them that? What verse do you read? You tell them, sister, you might be deceived. You're deceived. All right, I'm going to leave this alone. And that's what happened. So when it comes to the topic of religion, when it comes to family, when it comes to this information, sisters have to see somebody else doing it. And women who are in this thing have already been told by 50 other men who probably want to sleep with them that they are just so holy and righteous. Girl, you are so, any man that has you would be lucky. You just so holy, so righteous, so you a queen, you a princess, you a goddess, and I'm like, oh, she went from the streets to a goddess in a week. She went from the street. I went from the streets to Brother Chris, and I've been in this thing for 9, 10, 11, 12 years. You went from a streetwalker to a goddess in a week. Goodness gracious. I found out that women that don't know the faith are easier to be taught. I hate saying these things. They are easier to be taught.
Are women that don't have any religious background.
Yes, that's the key.
Because even with Christianity, I didn't see a lot of Christian women say necessarily spirituality stuff like it gotta be a witness in my spirit
Yep.
as much as in the faith. Oh, okay.
He cut in.
He did. Where is it?
I didn't do anything. I'm listening.
Don't do it.
Go ahead, finish what you're saying, Tanisha.
Oh, I was just saying, women without any religious background are probably easier to teach than women with religious background.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, I didn't see a lot of Christian women say a lot about what's in their spirit and all that sort of spirituality. I've seen more of that though in the so-called faith than I've seen in Christianity. Normally people don't say something like, isn't it somewhere in the Bible it says
Right.
this?
Yes.
Like you could tell they really don't know when they say my pastor said. But in the faith, they say my pastor and they say a lot of spiritual sayings like the witness in my spirit. So you never really can get clarity on what's right and wrong.
This is something. Ebony, you want to ask something again?
Come out.
Okay. Here's another point I wanted to make. Women are and have literally been turned off from polygyny by pro-polygynous men. Everyone's not in here yet. It's we think we like to say it's the anti-polygynous men. It's the pro-polygynous because they look at how we are. You got men who literally roam the backwoods of Facebook, picking fights with every woman that says, I disagree with it. I don't understand it. I don't, she has a right to say that. Why are you going over there calling her wicked, Jezebel, nasty? You're calling this woman a bitch because she says, I disagree with it? Are you serious? She's a bitch? You literally said this. This is no different. I mean, we got men who condemn women to hell because he likes her, he thinks she's fine, and she won't join his house. You a Jezebel anyway. You wicked. You going to hell. You. I'm like, this woman just came into the faith a month ago, and the first thing you did was throw the polygyny card at her, and she doesn't know what the hell you're talking about because to her, in the Western mindset, that's adultery. She's actually trying to show respect to your wife by not doing it, and you just call her a hoe. So then when she looks at this and she hears other women who have these same stories, what is the conclusion they're going to come up with when it comes to polygynous men? They're all wicked. They're all emotional. They're hateful. They're vengeful. They're going to talk shit about you. Yes. Hero-apaholic. Yes, sir. He said, oh, okay, so you mean the men berating or beating women over the head with the message. Yes, it's our job to deliver the message to the sisters. It's our job to bring it to them. And it's our job to let them grow in it. It's our job to give them the opportunity to grow in something. We don't even give them the opportunity. We want to take a woman straight off the street. That's why the Bible says, is in Ephesians chapter 5, we are to nourish and cherish our wives. These sisters need nourishing. Some of them need to have they need to get pruned and they need to be nourished. So many men think that our job is to literally, like, if you've ever done any growing of or transplanting of a tree, transplanting of a bush, transplanting of, even just transplanting a green bean plant from a cup to a garden. There's a certain way you do it without destroying the roots. Sometimes or let's say, like for us, if you started our plants inside, because it's cold outside still, nighttime gets cold. You start them on site in the heat mat, then you transplant them outside. You can't just take them outside. There is something, brothers, called transplant shock. People don't understand transplant shock. They don't understand the idea that this sister that you are trying to transplant from a cup with soil to a garden bed where there's different environments, there's different bacteria, there's different weather, the wind blows harder outside, and hopefully the wind's not blowing through your house. That means you have some insulation issues. You should probably close the windows. But you see what I'm saying? We don't understand that. And we don't, because it seems like a lot of us are in that, and everyone knows that I move quick when it comes to marriage. I move quick. Like if I say, I want to marry you, I'm gonna marry you. You tell me no, I'm just gonna be okay. I'm not gonna talk crap about you or say you're wicked, you're anti this, or I hope you fall off the planet. I'm not gonna do that. I didn't do that, right, Ebony?
Right.
Oh, okay. You know I was gonna go there. Anytime I had you on a live stream, I bring up the fact that you rejected me.
Reject.
Actually, she didn't reject me. I just like saying it that way. So many of us don't even know how to nurture. We don't know how to nourish, which means to literally bring up to maturity. We can't bring anything up to maturity. Our dogs died, the grass died, the goldfish died. Everything died. You don't kill everything you ever had. Did you want to say? Something just popped in your head. You want to say it now?
How hard is it for you to nourish different?
Oh, how hard is it to nourish? How hard is it? I just grabbed some compost and threw it.
Different plants need.
Yes. Well, part of it was understanding what you need, not what you want. Because if you listen to a woman tell you what she wants, you'll be like, I need soil that is, I want to be buried. I want to grow next to the beach. I want the look right at Taylor. I want the water to come in and off the ocean and to water me. You want to be watered with salt water on beach sand? Is that what you're saying? You're not gonna grow. Have you ever tried? If you're not gonna, have you ever gone to a beach? Yes. How many things do you see growing in the sand? How many gardens being watered by the ocean water do you see? Well, it's maybe because people haven't tried. Or maybe they have all tried and failed, and it's proven. As a brother in the faith, what would you listen to Dave Ramsey advice? Have you ever? I have heard of Dave Ramsey. He's got a lot of financial advice. I don't like Dave Ramsey. I don't. Some of his advice is good. I don't like Dave Ramsey. I think that he comes from what the is that that's Eno. Oh. I think that sometimes people you have to always listen to the advice that you're given and see, does it fit you? See if that advice fits you. I don't think advice is one size fits all to anybody. Advice is not a one size fits all, except when it comes to Yah's law and the wisdom that comes from it. And even then, it's not a one size fits all. When it comes to not the law, like it's lawful for you to have more than one wife. Does that mean everyone should run on and get three? No. David had however many he had. Does that mean we all should go do that? No. So I've heard of him. I used to listen to him actually. And are divorce rates any different in polygyny compared to monogamy? I would encouraging community. I would say that in polygyny they are a tad bit lower, but I would not say overly significantly lower. And the reason is because most people don't understand it. See, the thing about polygyny and monogamy is people don't understand marriage as a whole, whether it's monogamous or polygynous. So people just don't understand what it is. Because in reality, I would say this. unless you do what the Bible says, your marriage is going to fail, whether it's monogamy or polygyny. So in reality, when I look at failed marriages, I look at it's people not following what the word says. In Western culture, a woman in polygyny is going to have the same problems as far as obedience as she would have in monogamy. It's an obedience problem. It doesn't matter. She was taught to not reverence her husband by this world. That fits all sectors. She was taught reverence your boss. She was taught your husband's wrong all the time. That's monogamy and polygyny. So when people look at polygyny and say, well, the rates of polygyny have to be way better than monogamy. I don't look at it that way. I say this. Where are these women that want to get married going to find husbands? That's my question. A woman submitting, that's going to be the same problem in monogamy and in polygyny. A man nourishing, he's going to have the same problem not nourishing one tree as he's going to have not nourishing 3 trees. Same problem. If a man don't know how to prune, he's going to have the same problem with 1 tree as he is with 3. Except, the 3 is going to be worse. He's going to be damaging more people if he doesn't know how to prune 1 tree, obviously. I don't think failed marriage is even an accurate term. It's more like marriages given up on. Yes, Palmetto. I do believe that some marriages you need to be walked away from. That's Hebrew Rapaholic said it. Poly or mono, it's still in the Western society. Absolutely. Yes, and both monogamy and polygyny are better than just living together. Absolutely. Absolutely, Brother Daryl Vic. Absolutely. Chicken Farmer Plus said, if you don't know how to use discernment when taking advice, I cannot help you. Jay Morris said, Brother Jay Morris, and maybe that's the difference, Brother Jay Morris. When I used to listen to Dave Ramsey, it was before I got really into this life. Brother Jay Morris said, I don't think Dave Ramsey's advice fits with the homestead lifestyle. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, Brother Jay. Oh, man, I agree with that. The more I think about it, absolutely. His advice does not really agree with the homestead lifestyle at all. At all. Barry J. Morris, that's really good. Because his advice probably does fit certain people. Yeah, not the homesteaders. not them. So let's continue. But I really want for us to understand, we can discuss polygyny all day long as men. All day long as men. But our sisters need to understand it. They're the ones that have the fear. And I know you can throw a bunch of Bible verses at them all day long. The Most High did not give us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. Okay. But after you're done saying the verse, how do you show a sister that, brother? How do you show a sister that? How do you show a woman that may be interested in your household that Yah didn't give us a spirit of fear when you're scared to move in what Yah sent you to do? You know what I'm saying? You want to, she's been listening to you talk about buy land. You've been talking about buying land for 5 years and ain't bought it yet. And I ain't trying to move out there. But then you tell her to make a move and join your house, but you're afraid to move out there. Right? That's absolute, man, red pill, that's good. There is a basic, simple way in order for the marriage to work. Love from the husband, submission from the wife. That's a damn near 100% fact. It bothers me when men throw these Bible verses at sisters. And I'm like, can I cross-question you? Can I cross-question you? And then you simping for them. It's not a simping. It's a simple thing. You're telling her, you're throwing Bible verses at her that she's supposed to understand. But then if she were to look at your example, she would say you're scared. You see what I'm saying? Don't be fearful, sister. You need to just let Yah work. And she's looking at you like, and you ain't made a move yet from where you've been. Why don't you let Yah work? Let Yah work in your life so that I can see it, so you can be an example to me. Show me what it is, because and here's the thing. I think a lot of men know that Yah really ain't with them like that. Oh, shit. That's what I believe. That they know that Yah really ain't with them, that they really riding dirty, in one way or another. I'm not telling you that you have to be perfect. We strive for perfection. But as men be knowing that they riding dirty. And that Yah, if I make that move out there, y'all gonna burn down my land. He's gonna have lightning come from the Shemayim, and you're gonna see a miracle, just the wrong kind of miracle. A lot of men don't want to be they don't want to be Nabal. You know what I'm saying? If you kind of riding like Nabal did. If you riding like Ananias did. If you riding that way. You know what I'm saying? And they're afraid that if I make these moves, I'm going to fail, and she's going to see me fail, and I'm going to know why I failed. So I want her to move in faith while I sit here and not move in faith. But if you are a man and you moving in faith, and she can see your actions, she can see what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? If your wife isn't secure in how you treat her, she sure won't be secure with you taking on another wife, because she'd feel like she's being left out even more than before. Right. And I'm a firm believer it's the man's decision. The man makes the decision. But if you notice, we have a plethora of men who would love to take another wife, and we have so few women who are willing to join these men's households. So then where's the issue? You might want to take on that question. Where's the issue? That's because the women don't want to hear the truth. Sure, that's one of the answers, but that's not the only answer. I think that there aren't enough examples for these sisters. I think there's not enough faith being shown by a lot of these brothers. That's what I think.
Security. If a woman was thinking of joining a man's house, and he still is just working in the city, just looking for other women you're just dropping in a whole bunch of women's DM, as the young people say.
The old shit was DM. Oh, okay, yeah. I remember.
Then that's not really showing that you are doing polygyny for faith, but you're doing it selfish motive. Be about your business.
Now, this is coming from a woman who's she's not 20 years in the faith. But listen to what she's saying. You got men who are just jumping from a woman's DM to a woman's DM. That's good. An insecure woman definitely won't be able to handle polygyny. Self-work must be done first. Absolutely. And we do have a lot of insecure women. And then we have a lot of insecure men. And then the insecure men want the insecure woman to make them feel secure. Girl, make me feel like I'm sexy. She's like, shut up. I don't feel sexy anymore. You looking for your woman to make you feel sexy? You're looking for your woman to make you, or to give you your vision? The only way you're ever going to be able to get what, to accomplish the task put before you is for your wife to come and do it for you? How would you have felt if I was talking about homesteading and you followed my channel for, 2-3 years, and I'll still live in desk making in Middle Southern California? Would that have affected your interest?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Talking about it.
Uh-oh.
Time you still talking about it, I would have done it.
I would have been moving on your land. Talking about, I'm the man, you just submit to me. Where's your land at now, babe?
My name is.
She doing the most.
That was offensive. God.
She really was.
I'm asking you, babe, can I put my name on your deed with you? Please?
Oh,
She's like, in the footnotes. In the footnotes of the deed.
Read the fine print.
Right. My name is way down there in the bottom. Just my initials. I can't get the whole name.
they can hear the paper for you. You can do it. A copy.
I get the copy.
Oh, that's really
You photocopy. She photocopies the deed. Gives me the copy. Like, write your name right there. Like, can I get it notarized? No.
There's some way for that to be legal.
Oh man.
That's right, Brother J. Morris. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you were not a wacko in the woods in Cali, brother. That's right. I had to be the wacko in the woods. There had to be that thing that made her say, "Why the heck is he out there? That don't make no damn sense. He know he don't belong out there." But I like
You
Sister
would be a
T.
lazy man in the city.
I like Sister T. Yeah, she's kind of saying, yeah, okay. I can kind of see, because I'm a strong, independent woman. There it is. Strong, independent. I just don't, I can't see myself. Well, maybe. Is that how it went? You kept going. She said she didn't look at the videos where I was in. She would fast forward those videos and only look at the ones. I'm trying to say something to people out there. What does it say when a sister says, I didn't even want to see you? I got tired of hearing your voice. I want to hear from the woman. Is there anything wrong? The Bible says that all the women are supposed to be teaching young ones. So a woman wanting to hear from a woman is natural. It's natural for a sister to want to hear from another sister.
And not just that, in this society too, like women don't get along like that. Like there's like horror stories to think a man trying to bring another woman in.
Yeah.
You're like, why are you trying to bring me in on your wife so we could be fighting?
Right.
You don't know. You want to see that what you talking about, your wife is in on this. 'Cause
Right.
There's a lot of stories where the men are talking and then the woman says, so we gonna be together? And then I'm like, wait, my wife, I gotta convince her and talk to her some more and see if she'll like it enough. Like that's chaotic. So
It is
you
chaotic.
want to know the wife, is she good? So I gonna walk in there, she gonna try to fight me. I mean, I asked Ebony that question.
I was gonna say, I want to hear Ebony say about it. What do you think about it, Ebony? That's great. From the perspective of a second wife, and we have videos coming out soon where Sister Ebony and Sister Teddy are going to be speaking from the perspective of a woman joining a house. We've all heard Tanisha already speak, but most women are probably going to be the second and third or fourth or fifth wife. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to hear from their perspectives, y'all's perspectives. We've heard Tanisha. I mean, obviously you can continue to add in, but you're a different position that they were, that you were already here. Was it easier? How much easier was it for you to hear and to know that Tanisha approved of it?
It was great.
Like how easier? Like out of 10. That was deep, huh? 10. I think I have a firm belief that the one of the difficulties we're having is that they're not hearing from the sisters. I want to shout out another channel that I think did a really good job of presenting the information, the Co-Wives. That's actually how Sister Taylor found my channel. Is you were watching the Co-Wives, and then they mentioned the Following Yeshua channel, and then she came over and saw the Wacko in the Woods. But you don't hear from a lot of sisters when it comes to this topic, and you always hear brothers, and there's nothing wrong with us been talking about it. But when when we're talking about something that's foreign to us, you need to hear from women. Women need to hear from women. Sisters, they need to hear from sisters. There's power in that. I mean, damn, you think about this, brothers. In this modern society, women have been able to help other women wear weaves. Now we got a whole society of women wearing weaves, right? This culture of baby mamas. So just think, if we could instill something positive that could be taken, we could have this. We could have all of our sisters from every culture covered. Well, as much as we possibly can. But we don't push the positive things. Those things are so underneath the rug. So many people are kind of ashamed of the way they live. I'm not ashamed of how I live. I'm not ashamed of my family. I'm not ashamed of my children. I'm not ashamed of the sisters. I'm not ashamed of where I live. I'm not ashamed that my house is not finished. I'm not ashamed that I work hard. I'm just not ashamed. I'm thankful to the Most High. Let's speak a little louder. Speak a little louder.
He's like, yes.
Oh, bad.
It's good for other people, other women to see an example of what I guess all it is in this over here in the Western culture is monogamy, and then if there are multiple women dealing with a man, is side chicks and cheating and stuff like that. So there's no one to actually see how an actual biblical marriage, which is with people agreeing and committing themselves to each other, and living their life and having, their family life and everything, living it that way. There's no example of that. It's monogamy and then side chick, mistresses, adultery, and all that stuff. So if there's no example, then it's all foreign, and nobody's gonna women are gonna be leery of doing that. It's like, who does that, or it's scary. Right. If something's new or nobody ever knows about it.
That's the truth. And I have a hard time speaking against women having that fear. But when they turn on the internet and they type in polygyny, and you see a dude calling women names and screaming at them and telling them you ain't nothing but wicked. I don't know how that's going to help her. You know what I'm saying? You ain't nothing but wicked. That's all you're going to be. Taylor, all you're ever going to be is wicked. That's all you're ever going to be. Just a foul, wicked, nasty, and then wicked. And then when you're done being wicked, it's nasty and wicked again. And then nasty again. And then probably wicked. And you're like, gosh. Yeah, so essentially, I'm nothing. For real, right. It is. Yeah, it's for real. It is. It's like you devalue the person enough so that you can sex traffic them, because they don't think they're worth anything now. That I'm just bad and wicked, and then the only way I'm gonna be good is to be with you. That's it. The only way I'm gonna be good is to join your household and be sex trafficked, or I'm nothing. Are you kidding me?
You start talking to them like that before you even marrying them, and we're like, this is with me not even knowing what you're talking about yet. What is it gonna like once you get me in your house?
Yes.
Now they're scared, like, oh shoot, that sounds dangerous.
And then there's no examples, because I'm thinking about, all the people that my master and Tanisha have counseled and dealt with before me and Master got married, and then we got married. Then I'm hearing and talking, speaking to women who have just had bad experiences because they don't know about polygyny or biblical marriage, and then there's the wicked men who take advantage of that and just telling them anything, and the women don't know,
right? And
they're like, okay, they have the desire to be married, so they're just going to go along with it.
That's true. That is true. No covenant. Men just running around just bedding women and then telling them you're mine now, you can't go nowhere. And she's like, what? Like, I have no clue what's going on. Or he didn't even tell his wife that he was either woman that he's polygynous. So they don't even know about each other. He's still got side chick, but then when he gets caught, He's like, yeah, it's a polygyny. By the way, I was about to do a study on this. You were about to do a study. You have them involved in something that you were about to do a study on. If that's not manipulation, and then that's when the man uses, well, I'm the man, I can do whatever I want to. You can. But that dishonesty should cost you your household. You don't add to your household by dishonesty, by hiding people. Tanisha, go in the closet. Ebony's coming over. Yeah, man. Women going to foreign countries. And this is a part of the idea of women, because we don't have fathers in the household, you don't have anybody teaching these sisters these things. It's hard to find anything positive on it just by searching. The only positive info examples are through real channels, people like you that gets passed through fellowship. Hallelujah, tread on these. I am humble, brother. I am humble. The whole point of these channels, these videos, is to give sisters the idea to see y'all's names, to see that there are men that are capable, willing, that have all of their stuff, together enough. He will say, he has to have it together. What does that mean in today's society? Having it together is damn near impossible. I don't even got it together. I have enough pieces. I know what the picture looks like on the puzzle, but have it together, no, I'm still putting them together. I might start another puzzle later, you know what I'm saying? But this idea that there are so many good brothers that I know personally. Like, this is not, I don't do this channel for the reason of, well, I'm gonna get to select through all the women that are interesting, and then I'm gonna pass what I don't want to the. No, I encourage the sisters. Hey, if you see a brother you're interested in, you can ask me. I can tell you what I know about the brother. Most of the brothers I know in this chat right now are good brothers. Most of them been on here for years, so I can tell you that's probably a good brother. It's the idea that these sisters shouldn't be uncovered. That's my idea. But when these sisters look for polygyny, it's overran with, as my brother said, it's overran with negativity. That's all you see. You read about cults, people disappearing, people ended up dead, having to give, your husband's giving or the man's giving stuff over to another man. What kind of woman wants to join that? Oh, say that. Oh, say that loud, please. Please say that one.
For a woman who would be looking for polygyny, but it's controlled by another wife, or like one wife is the head of the household.
You have the head of the household wife. Woo! What do you think about that? Go ahead, speak on that. What would your idea have been if you were looking into this household and I had a ball gag in my mouth when you called me?
Oh my goodness!
I had the choker. I had the choker, right?
And someone else had on the colors. You definitely would have been a lot less appealing.
If you were like, I emailed you and I was like, oh, I have to talk to my Madame Tanisha first.
Oh, God.
Watchman Awaken said, most people miss the bigger picture on the purpose of being married. The Watchman Awaken, bless you, brother, by the way. I would say, brother, you are absolutely correct. I would say most people don't even know the purpose of marriage. They would say the purpose of marriage is to be happy. That's what they would say. The purpose of marriage is so you can just be happy. I can, for women, they'll say be happy and be taken care of. Or have children. Well, children is actually a reasonable, thing when it comes to. But a lot of times they'll say, yeah, I want to have children, and then they have children take off. Absolutely right. I watched a Mosi Studios video where a man secretly married a second wife while financially draining the first one. See, these things right here. The idea of polygyny wasn't wrong, but the way he went about it was. I heard a story, brother, about a man that literally got his wives in trouble because his first wife was on food stamps, and then he convinced, I think he had like 5 wives. He convinced all 4 of them to get food stamps. But now that they're under the same roof, getting food stamps, which is a crime. But I think they said they were deceitful. I think they put like different addresses so that it would look like they're in different households, but they're all still part of the same household, getting food stamps and things like that. And how does that look? So then when that story came out, it was a couple years ago. Bless you, Chicken Farmer Plus. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Honor to your house, my brother. Shabbat Shalom. And what it did is a lot of women were like, see, the only men who want to do polygyny are these broke dudes. And that was a speech. That was a talk. Men who ain't doing nothing, don't want to work, don't want to do anything, they get their women and guess who got in trouble? Guess who got in trouble with the law? It wasn't him. It was them. They were the ones that got in trouble. And then, of course, once they got in trouble, I think he divorced like 3 of them. So now they're forced to pay back not just the fines, but the money on top of that, to pay back what they had taken out and the fines. And I think one of them had jail time had some jail time. I mean, just think about that. So they were the ones that suffered for him. And then he abandoned them. I'm like, man, okay, if you did that, at least ride with them. I mean, man, to divorce them? So we have all these bad examples. We have these stories, these horror stories that, and some stories, let me just say, are not horror stories. Some stories are the woman just doesn't want to submit to the husband. You know what I mean? Not every story is a horror story. When you dig behind a lot of these stories, you'll find there were a lot of things that were unsaid by the woman. And I've talked to countless brothers, and well, she left because of this reason. You find there's another part of the story that she never told you. But there are still those stories that we men could have done something about. And that's what I'm concerned about. I want every man that is on this channel to feel absolutely comfortable knowing that if you wanted to expand your house and you feel that that's something that the Father is leading you to do, then do it. Brother, a Hebrew rapaholic, I have actually caught some made up. Yes, sir. I have caught some women who were never part of a polygynous household making up a story as if she was part of one, left and then told a horror story about it. You already know some of the stories I've had to experience. Those are my niece. Those are my nieces and nephews. Never heard children. Some crazy stuff. You love that story, don't you? Find the bed sheets. It's a prison cell. Shredding them in strips so you can braid them into a rope. That was a real story. Well, almost one. So that's the point of this, is that I'm not trying to disparage those that talk about this, but we have a lot of people. And I want to read a verse. I want to read. It's in Sirach. Talking about counsel. Sirach chapter 37. And this is what I was just saying about, there are a lot of people who get in vehement arguments about polygyny. So I don't argue about it anymore. I know it's lawful. I know that y'all said you can do it. So is it expedient for everybody? Well, I don't know. It's up for each man to determine if it's expedient for him to do it. But I'm not going to step on another man's, preeminence in his household and tell him, what I personally think, unless he asks me. Well, right here it says, verse 11, Sirach chapter 37, verse 11. Sorry, verse 11. Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous. So I don't go, let's just say that Wait, what's that?
And they
Oh.
have 2 channels that they said when they were talking about where they
Oh,
and they mentioned
okay.
this, and I was like, before online, so I looked up
Okay.
and they have
Okay.
our,
Okay. Oh,
I was
hallelujah.
like, oh.
Hallelujah. Neither consult with the women touching her of whom she is jealous. Neither with a coward in matters of war. I'll get you in a second, brother. I'm almost finished. Nor with a merchant concerning exchange, nor with a buyer of selling, nor with an envious man of thankfulness, nor with a unmerciful man of touching kindness, nor with the slothful for any work, nor with a hireling for a year of finished work, nor with an idle servant of much business. Hearken not unto these in any matter of counsel. That's the same thing that I'm kind of hitting on here, is that we have qualified people. You know, I may have my disagreements with Elder Murray and Sister Gina, Mother Gina. I have areas and I vehemently disagree. But when it comes to their conversations and their discussions on polygyny, her books, you know, her first one was what is the first book? The Them and Him, the Us and Him, the Them and Him, the Them and Him. Wonderful book. Goodness gracious. And I will always shout that book out for anybody that is looking to a great read on marriage, polygyny. Great read. You know, that if it comes to I would send you to them before I send you to some of these people that just pontificate on the idea. Too many people speak about things that we just don't do. Just like, you know, military, or, you know, you don't hear me giving military advice out to people. Why? I was never in the military. I could point you to some brothers that that have been in the military. I could point you to people that have been in direct contact or direct combat. If you want to talk about street combat, I can talk to you about that. I can talk to you about street combat, but military tactics and all that, I can only tell you that I got tutored. That's it. We have so many people that want to tell you why, and they're telling you bad information. In the gun community, it happens a lot. There are a lot of people that give you advice on self-defense and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and these people have no clue what to talk about. Being a nurse, how many people have you ever heard just give bad advice?
Usually patient family.
There you go.
And that's someone who's a CNA who writes butt to the nursing home.
Listen to this.
Who will tell you how to draw blood or what tests and stuff need to be run on this patient.
And you're looking at them like, would you shut your damn mouth? Or something like that. You would never think to look at them that way. Something like that. Something. She turned the hood on this. Something like that. In the roughly 10 years I've been keeping Torah, I have never met a single person I agree with 100% on everything. That's okay. They can still be my brothers. Palmetto, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm the same way. I never agree with one person I agree with 100%. And they're still my brother. And I still trust them. You know, and part of the brotherhood, part of having brothers is there's going to be certain brothers that I'm going to go to for certain questions. Like I said, if you want to talk about the military, don't come to me. I'll see the Palmetto paratrooper. Don't come to me and ask me about it. I can tell you what I do, what I've read, what I got trained by, third party. But I didn't spend time in boot camp. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that. I can only tell you what I know from the outside looking in. There are people that are in the inside. That's where I would point you to. But because we have so many people speaking on things, we have so much bad advice. So a lot of sisters are absolutely burdened by ideas of polygyny that they heard from somebody else who is incapable. How many times have you gotten bad advice? Tanisha, me and Tanisha were talking about this recently, about the amount of bad advice she got growing up and how it affected her life, affected her, just affects everything. How much bad advice did I get, growing up? and you try to implement the bad advice, and it tears everything down. Damn near destroys your family, your marriage from bad advice. Because people who were not trained, who did not have the fruit, are discussing it as if they have the fruit. And oftentimes the ones who are the ones with the biggest voices are the ones who have the least fruit. That's just the way it works. You go to prepping channels, and you'll see people talk on prepping channels about gun advice, and you need to buy this, that, and the other, and you need to go get this person, and this person is going to try and get this, and it's all bad advice. You go talk to somebody who actually knows, and they're like, oh, that's bad advice. You know, I like watching those things on Facebook. It's like the self-defense, and it shows like somebody training somebody else how to like defend yourself against an attacker who grabs you from behind with a knife. So it shows the person doing it, and it looks all cool, and then it shows some random guy trying to do it, and then the picture blacks out and shows him in heaven. Meaning it didn't work and he got killed. Trying to do that little quick thing, you know, and break free. It didn't work for him. You should be in my brother Gary said, Chris, you should be in my business. The bullshit flows like water over Niagara Falls. And he works in the, you know, self-defense. And I can only imagine the stuff that he hears. I can only imagine. He's just constantly putting out fires that are burning, that are raging through preparedness communities, self-defense communities. He's like, no, that doesn't work. No, that doesn't work. No, if you try that, you will die. You won't even be hurt. You're just going to bypass hurt. You will die. You understand that, right? Yes. So are you going to do that? Yes. I don't even know why I bother telling you. You're still going to do it. I can only imagine the stories that Brother Gary would have. Sometimes in life, we have to take into account is how much bad advice did we give as well as we got. Absolutely. Many of us are parents. You know, I coming out of that ministry, and you listen to the parents, that everyone just says the same thing the pastor says. They have no clue what he's talking about. He says man of Yah, they say man of Yah, and they have no clue what that even means. They have no clue what they're actually telling Yah when they say that. And I will give you pastors that shall feed them in knowledge and understanding. And then their pastor tells them what that verse means. So now their understanding of that verse is simply based on what their pastor said. So to their pastor, that means that any ounce of wisdom is going to come from who? Him. Any ounce of wisdom, any ounce of understanding has to come from him. That's bad advice. Because that means that what you just said is Yah is basically incapable of giving you wisdom. Here's what I would say to that. Sirach chapter 1. All wisdom, verse 1, all wisdom cometh from Yah and is with him forever. And if you read the whole, verse 16, to fear Yahweh is fullness of wisdom, and filleth men with her fruits. So the fear of Yah. The Bible says the fear of Yah is the beginning of wisdom. It doesn't say your pastor it. It says the fear of Yah. Having a veneration of reverence of Yah. Not your pastor.
One of the scriptures in there said they give you the wisdom after you fear him, but you're not going to have fear or the wisdom if you distrust him.
If you can find it.
Let's check over it.
Yes. Palmetto said, oh, I see parrots everywhere to one degree or another. Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. Brother Daryl said, I missed his comment. I think I did. Oh, no, I read that one. New World said, sometimes they give advice because misery loves company. Other times just to see what happens. And the Bible talks about that. Let me see that real quick. To substantiate what Sister New World said, turn back to Sirach 37 and verse 9 says, or verse 8 says, beware of a counselor and know before what need he hath, for he will counsel for himself lest he cast a lot on thee, and say unto thee, thy way is good. And afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee. So what she said is the book. They will counsel you to see what happens to you to figure out whether they should do it or not. Yeah. Can you imagine you and sister or Taylor cut right there? And the doctor's sitting there like, oh shit, she's about to do it. She's about to do it. You cut, person dies, and like, I now know in my notes you don't cut there. Meanwhile, who's the one going to jail? You're going to jail, right?
Yes.
And he's over there like, whoo, I'm glad I didn't do that one. I'm glad it wasn't me. I'll put some money in your books though. That Detroit survivor guy is the one who's going to get people killed. Right. Yes, done. All his advice is so bad. And you look at it, they give bad advice, and then when you die, what happens? They say, I didn't tell you to follow my advice. Right? You're the one who ends up screwed. They're not there for you when you they're not going to put money or help your family out. People and the internet is full of bad advice. I've seen people kicked out of ministries because they were told to give all to the ministry. And they get kicked out and they ain't got shit now. Their money's gone. Their life is literally gone. And then they're over there like, well, I want to be righteous. Brother, you got jacked. In the streets, we call that jacked. You got finagled. Finagled. How many syllables is that? That's like 3. That's 7. Uh-oh. Combat G man, y'all. I didn't see your comment. Let me go back up. Oh, the principality of Jezebel has affected and damaged many households, a huge stumbling block to the righteous order. Bind this principality and loose the spirit of Yeshua on the head of the household. Jezebel does have to be bound. And let me tell you something. Jezebel is you always hear it taught that it's in women. You want to know what I'm seeing more now than ever? Jezebel. I'm seeing Jezebel in men. I'm saying that Jezebel mentality. I want that vineyard. I'll go do it, Jezebel, because Ahab wanted the vineyard, and Jezebel found a way to go do it. Now you're seeing that, especially in these churches today. You're seeing men finagle, use the Jezebelic order and mentality and spirit to get things for themselves or for their leaders. You're seeing so much flim-flamming now, it's not even funny. You found it?
It's 26 through 28.
Okay.
But it's in another scripture too that gave it more, but they all go together.
All right, well, this is good. This is good. If thou desire wisdom, go to your pastor. That's what the book says. You know I'm lying. That is not what it says. The book say in Sirach chapter 1, verse 26. If thou desire wisdom, keep the commandments, and Yahweh shall give her unto thee. Which means it's kind of interesting. If a person says they're keeping the commandments, but they don't have wisdom, they ain't keeping them. So they might be telling you they're keeping them, but there's always going to be fruit. So you're going to know whether the person's keeping them or not. For the fear of Yahweh is wisdom and instruction, and faith and meekness are his delight. Distrust not the fear of Yahweh when thou art poor, and come not unto him with a double heart. That means you can't be coming to y'all scared. In fact, it says that he despises a man that goes 2 ways. Wait. I know what that is. Let's go down to chapter 2. Verse 12. Woe be to fearful hearts, to fearful hearts and faint hands, and a sinner that goeth 2 ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. If you scared, Y'all ain't gonna defend you. It's a guarantee. Oh, Aki Manolo, yes, sir. This is my favorite book. The Sirach is my favorite book in the whole Bible. I love Sirach. That's why it looks like that. It looks like somebody from the hood just got a can of spray paint with like get it rattle can. Was that too far? Is that
No.
Okay. So
You're going far.
yes. Oh, were you going over that concubine question someone asked earlier tonight? Thank you. Or in a separate video. We can touch on it tonight. From my understanding, and I am not coming from the perspective of I know the answer. Oh, Brother Gary, yes, sir. How many times did he tell him to fear not, his disciples? Fear not. Fear not. Fear not. Bible says that the coward's not going to enter in.
I found another one in Wisdom of Solomon. I'll find it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Saying if you say anything about if you're distrusting him, you're not operating in the fear of Yahweh
Yes.
or
Yes.
something of that.
Dun said if you're scared, go to church. That's for real. If you're scared, go to your favorite ministry. That's what you see the scared people at. They go there so they can feel secure in themselves. They're really just scared. Huh? Is it a book?
Under the eye.
Is that a song?
They go to church and they're under the watch
yes.
of the pastor.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, that's a deep book. It sounds like it. Can you send me the download to that one? Yeah, Sister Tay hit it. She said they want to be under the eye of a man, where he can give you that security.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going there. I didn't say really.
Dope. It is kind of oosh gosh goosh gosh. If y'all don't know what the oosh gosh goosh gosh is, type in to your YouTube browser. This goes to show the homosexuality in Hollywood. Type in Orlando Brown, oosh gosh goosh gosh, and it's talking about him and P Diddy. Orlando Brown will tell you, that's the guy from That's So Raven, will tell you that P Diddy gave him the oosh gosh goosh gosh.
I don't think it's spelled. Orlando Brown,
It's awful.
Interview.
There's a warning. It shows you that there's that homosexuality. Orlando Brown licks his lips and gives like kissy lips, and says like, "You gave me the oosh gosh gosh." Yeah, but you saw the way he licked his lips too. He licked his lips talking about P Diddy.
It was disgusting.
It was the nastiest thing. But anyways, you can feel it's on YouTube. Yeah, you can feel the spirit like through the screen. You're gonna have to go and wash yourself off. But it's an interview, and he's thanking Diddy for giving him whatever the oosh gosh goosh gosh means.
The goosh gosh muwashi gosh.
He starts speaking in tongues.
Right.
Some of y'all, your pastor done gave you the oosh gosh goosh gosh. You think you're speaking in tongues.
You just got that.
You just got the oosh gosh goosh gosh.
They're like,
yes. Oh, but from my understanding of as far as concubines go, a concubine is a woman. You know that you see the definition sometimes says things like, Brother Lamar said, I know someone that lost 40K to that ministry. That's the oosh gosh goosh gosh. That brother got oosh gosh goosh gosh. But from from what I understand, it's a woman that is not able to. Again, this is not from thus saith Yah. This is not. I'm being like Paul now. These are my words, not the words of Yah. This is from what I understand what a concubine is. It's a lower level of a woman who cannot assimilate fully to the husband. Oftentimes, from what I'm understanding, it could be like a woman that had children, where she still has the children and they still have a prominent role in her life, or women that I wouldn't have to deal. You know, they have a baby daddy and he still sees the children. That woman, from what I understand, would fit more of a concubine than a wife, but she cannot fully assimilate. She's got other things going on in her life. For me, I couldn't do a concubine. I couldn't do it. Doesn't mean the other man can't. I just know for myself that anybody that comes into my household has to be fully assimilated to the vision that I have, and there can't be any outside. Yeah, watchmen, yes, because let's say like a woman. And this is just my understanding. This is not. I'm not speaking as if I know. I'm speaking from what I understood it to be. Let's say like a woman, you wanted to bring a woman in your house, and she had like an ailing father or an ailing mother, and she was still kind of taking care of that responsibility. That would be a woman, from my understanding, that would fit more of the definition of a concubine. And it doesn't have to be something so extreme. It could be somebody that's in your house and just struggling, or it is coming in your house and is struggling. So I don't want to go too far because there's a lot of other things that I wanted to. If I have this whole discussion of concubinage, that I would have to go to from where I got my understanding and things like that. But she is a wife. She still has the responsibilities. Like, she still submits to you. She still has your children and things like that. But it's not the same, I guess you could call it. It's interesting how like the Bible even presents Bilhah and Zilpah. It calls them both wives and concubines. It interchanges the word when referencing the servants of Rachel and Leah. Yeah. So it interchanges. You know what, Brother Gary? I will. And for those that are astute in the Bible and to marriage, I would appreciate y'all being there, because again, I don't know 100%. This is just from what I think that I understand. So I'm not speaking from I'm an authority figure. I'm speaking from this is just what I think it is. This is my opinion. The Bible says, for many are deceived by their own opinion. So if I have it wrong, I don't want anybody else to take it and say, well, Father Yeshua said that's what it is, so that's what it is. No, I'm only saying that this is what I think it is, from my understanding. Okay, thank you. I just feel like I have to like really clarify that. But yes, Brother Gary, I think that would be an excellent live stream to kind of break down the difference between wife, concubine, and even maidservant, or what that entails. Just to present it, just present the information, because the Bible doesn't even really hit on concubinage really deeply. I mean, the fact that it interchanges the word, I would like to. What I need to do is I need to go and look up the Hebrew word for the word wife. Is it Ishaya? I wonder if it is.
But I know the part where Rachel and Leah, when they gave Bilhah and Zilpah, they said, remember, those were their servants. Their father gave them women to their daughters as servants.
Yes.
And it says when Rachel gave her servant, she said Leah gave her to her husband to wife and bear children in her name. And then so it used the term wife when they first gave them to Jacob, but then they said to bear children in the name of Leah and then in the name of Rachel. So I'm not sure that, but then later on.
Yeah, Keturah was a concubine to Abraham. We know that Solomon had concubines. Because I've heard some people say that concubine was only when a woman gave another woman to the husband. But does that mean that Solomon concubines were all given to him by his wives? I don't think so. It doesn't sound like that.
Some scripture, then they say he took them to,
yeah.
Yeah, it gets different, because I remember reading a part where the Torah was mentioned as a wife. Then it said then Abraham taken Torah to wife her after the death of.
Yes.
So I guess it just depends on.
Yeah. That's another thing I heard. And I'm glad you mentioned that, as I've actually heard that women that had known man already were taken as concubines. But then the Bible says that if a woman is divorced and gets remarried, it says married, and she wouldn't be a virgin.
It says, remember they say, and then if she goes to another husband,
Uh-huh.
he can't take her to wife
Yeah.
again. She has to go get a new. She can go be. It said specifically she can go be another man's wife.
Yeah, Brother Gary said his understanding is along those lines: a wife without property right. So, Palmetto said a wife that doesn't have a concubine, doesn't have a contract. Which it would be hard to say that in today's time because that means there's a hell of a lot of concubines out there. Brother J. Moore said, okay, the word is Hilgesh, a Hebrew term for a wife. LaFrance Hart said a concubine is a wife, but just doesn't hold the standard of virginity and servitude to the husband. She's just a lesser status, in his opinion. That's kind of what I've read. I've read so many different definitions of the word concubine from different, ideas. The one that kind of made sense was that one. Is that she's a lesser status of a wife. But then what does that mean? Like, what does a lesser status mean? Like, are you a lesser wife? I think it'd be a great study. In fact, if I do that study, if any of y'all would like to come onto the stream and we can share the screen, I would love to have a panel of just discussers. Anybody who's been on this channel, who's been on here for any amount of time, I'll send you the link, and I'll invite you in, and you can share the screen and share, because I'll tell you, I don't know. And I think it would be very, very enlightening for all of us, myself included, to have an open discussion on what your idea was, or what you read the Bible, your understanding. Concubine is a very confusing status to me. I don't think we're good examples of what that means. Sister Rachel, I agree. I think in today's terms, it's hard for us to understand it, of truly what it is, because we are a Western culture. And for us, what does a lesser wife mean to us? I don't know. I have no clue, to be honest.
This one says.
Yeah, and Sister Tessa said, how you take care of her? Like, what requirements does she have as far as you caring for her?
And there's no biblical description.
There's no biblical description.
It didn't say it even when they called these other women these things. They were with all the other wives and family, bearing children, doing all that. It didn't say there was a different thing going on. So maybe when the world was more virgin, fathers giving, maybe they had understood better than what we are.
I know in some of the English dictionaries, I looked at some old English dictionaries, and it basically equated a concubine to a paramour.
And they said,
from when I'm reading the book, Zilpah and Bilhah weren't paramours; they were concubines. So there's a different status.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I read a paramour is actually considered a male prostitute. I literally looked that up.
It is. It is. That's why I said. That's why I was wondering, like, how do these dictionaries equate her to a paramour when a paramour is a male prostitute? I have no clue. I think it'd be a fun discussion to have. The Strong's app I have says it's an uncertain derivative and means paramour. See, that's what she said. And some of the old dictionaries say paramour.
Unless they're trying to knock, because it's the English or the where it's coming from. Like they're trying to knock the fact that a man can have multiple wives, so they're trying to equate with a woman to some sort of prostitute. Like, oh, it's just this prostitute.
Okay.
Like side chick. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Well, okay, wait. Now, Combat G-Man at Yahoo would have a lot better of an Eastern understanding than most of us would. He would definitely have a much better Eastern understanding. He said, in an age where integrity is found wanting, Proverbs 31 is a good reference. Concubines fall up under the chief wife. So they fall up under the chief wife. I don't think we understand that in the Western context either. When he says chief wife, in the West, what does that mean? In the East, he would probably be better. I would like to have him on the stream if he was willing to, because I guarantee he would have a much better understanding than we would. Much better. I would say a concubine would be more of a servant to the wife, but is under the household of the man. That might be a chief wife, what Fearmonger's saying. Fearmonger's a wise brother, so. He said, I would say a concubine would be more of a servant to the wife, but is under the household which would fit Bilhah and Zilpah because they were having children in the name of the wives. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Most concubines served to satisfy sexual pleasure, since any children that resulted from a mistress was considered illegitimate, and unless allowed by their father, had no rights of inheritance. The rich and the ruling class almost executively or exclusively practiced concubinage. Sexually assembled to the man. Children and all belongings are the man's, but just not the same status as the wife. So my question is this. In Isaiah 4:1, when it says 7 women will take hold of one man, saying we will provide our own food and our own clothing, only let's be called by your name, are they actually asking to be concubines?
That sounds like
that's a question. Are they actually asking to be concubines where they will still be under him? They'll be under his household and he'll have sexual rights to them. I don't know. This is why I like these studies, because I could be like, certain so-called pastors and just tell y'all make up some shit and then say it. But Gary said sounds like it, and then Palmetto Petrover said that is what that sounds like. Okay, so we got some agreeing. It sounds like they're just saying we'll be your concubine. Huh? That would mean that I would have to. Yeah. I think but the thing is that concubine, and I don't want to go too far on this, but concubine gets such a negative, a negative word, and I don't think a concubine is a bad thing. To be honest, if your choices are concubine or single and suffering, that's what I think the Eastern and the Western splits. Is in the Eastern, a woman will be happy being a concubine. In the West, everybody thinks they're a wife. Everybody thinks the wife is it. Because he knows what it means to be. Yes. In the Eastern culture, they have an understanding of what it means to be in a man's house, to be covered. In the West, we don't understand that term, covering, having his name, having that protection. We don't understand that. Mom, Matthew, being a concubine is still better than no covering at all. Brother Lamar said that. I didn't see his comment. Brother Lamar, it's the truth. I fully believe that. Being part of a man's house is better than just running rogue by yourself. Oh my gosh, he had 300 wives and 600 concubines or something like that. 600 concubines.
In Genesis 25, it says he took the Torah as a wife.
So Genesis 25 is he took the Torah as a wife?
Says he took the Torah as a wife. And I looked at wife, and it does say Ishaya.
So does it say Ishaya?
It does. I'm going to go back to it right now. It says Isha Nashim, and then the phonetic, it says Isha. Phonetic is in the phonetic Isha, but it says Ishaya Nashim.
Bless you, Sister Lenny. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Brother Gary said, you've got to remember that in biblical times, a man's house could be huge, almost like what we would call a clan today. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because when you start talking about polygyny, you have to stop thinking apartment. You know what I mean? You have, your idea has to be bigger than, I'm gonna live in the middle of New York in an apartment, or I'm gonna live in the middle of the city in an apartment. You gotta start thinking like, we're going to have children and grandchildren, and there's going to be women, and there could be more women that come into my household. And you're talking about expansion. You're not talking about, a 2-bedroom, 600 square foot apartment, studio apartment. You got to start thinking bigger. You may start there, but the vision has to be expansion. You're talking about a clan. You can imagine having 50 men or 50 children or 50 people in a 600 square foot apartment. You'd have a line to go to the bathroom like at a football stadium. No, it's not bad at all. Isaiah 4:1 just means to be covered and under a godly man's spiritual protection. And that's fearmonger saying, and people don't want that. You only want, if you actually look at today, and I'm going to be saying something that's kind of hurtful, but it's true. Most women would technically kind of fit under a concubine more than they would a wife, because most women don't understand what it is to be a wife. Being honest, they don't understand what it actually requires. Not just a title like it is today. I deserve a good man. I deserve a husband. I deserve. No, it literally meant something to be a wife. It seems that you couldn't just run around and just toss your sexuality to anybody and then say I'm a wife. Biblically, if you committed adultery, you couldn't be considered a wife because you'd be killed. You'd be killed. So there's just certain things that I look at and I say, we don't understand a lot of these ideas, a lot of these terms, a lot of the cultural significance, because today big families are looked down upon. Even in polygyny, you're talking about polygyny, you're talking about you're going against society. Not just in that you have more than one wife, but in the idea that you're going to be bringing forth a lot of life if that's what you're doing. You're going to have a large family, and large families are not looked upon good in today's society. Think of the times that we've gone out, all of us, and when people see this train of humanity taking over an aisle, people stop and they like, what is this? That's a lot of people. Yes, it is a lot of people. Today it's, because everything today is financial, it's how am I going to go on my vacation? How am I going to, buy my nice car? If I have 5, 6, 7, 10 children, if there's 2, 3, 4 women, how are you going to have all that? What kind of vacation is that? We're going on vacation. That's a you got to sell the land to go do it. And even there, that's just going to Denny's. I mean, literally, you're multiplying. As fearmonger say, the being fruitful and multiply is serious. And I don't think that people have that mindset anymore. Women don't see themselves as I'm a vessel to bring life, and men don't see it as it's worth to have children. Generally we want them, but then there's the child support fears, and if I get divorced and I have a wife that has 6 children and we divorce, my life is over. Literally, I'm gonna be spending the rest of my life trying to pay for the and then don't let the woman know I was a stay-at-home mom and he worked. Oh shit! God.
At some point,
Yep. LaFrance Hart also said concubines are taken off the market and are not like girlfriends. Another brother said that they're not passed around. Whoever brother said that, forgive me, I saw your comment and I wanted to say it. They're not passed around, so they're not shared. A concubine is not somebody that I had some fun with, and now I'm gonna pass it to brother so and so. He has some fun. No, she's part of that man's house, his house, which means you could be guilty of adultery. The same way, I'm just saying, it might not have been a physical building at times. Israel was nomadic. A man's house could have been a shitload of tents. Yes, yeah, it could have been an area that he, hey, these are all my tents. And these are the borders that are around my tents. This is mine. Icon actually has a positive status, but in today's vernacular, most modern women think of it as a negative sense. LaFrance Hart, I absolutely agree. I think, honestly, that a concubine is a wonderful thing. Think of it. You're a woman, and you are out in the world by yourself. And now you have belonging. I mean, these same women will go to church so they can become a member of a church. But then, and they'll sit in the back of the church, but they'll still say, I'm part of this church, right? But they'll have a problem when it comes to being a concubine.
It's more right.
It's way more righteous than side chick. A side chick is literally somebody that it's a whore. Literally a whore. Somebody you just have some fun with and you kick them back to the curb. A concubine actually belongs. She actually has belonging. I mean, I would say a lot of us men actually in the faith actually are more concubines than we are. That, brides. A lot of us have the demeanor of a concubine.
Well, if you think about just talking about the righteousness of it or not being passed around, the Western society as a whole is screwed because are the men, like, you read how the fathers passed down their lineage to their sons and how they were taught to go to an area of like Abraham, and they talk about his son when he got to teenage years went to the elders where he was taught how to be a man. They're different. Men don't have that, and the women, okay, we can go from there. So people committed all sorts of sins. It's like literally some of us committed sins unto death already.
Right.
To the high men and women both.
Right.
So it's like if we did it like that, every single person is a concubine or some status because we all have to be brought back to God.
Yes.
That's what it says. You just don't.
Red Pill said concubines were servants to the wives, and at the same time could be a kind of sub-wife too. I agree, because I'm sure the husband still wanted his concubine. A lot of times they present concubine like the man had to go through the wife to have access to the concubine. Well, if everything belongs to the husband, then that would mean that the servants of the wife belong to the husband as well. What? Okay. Being a concubine is better than being raped by any random guy that decides to because you have no covering. Absolutely.
Your wife and concubine in the sheets.
That's tread on these. Tread on these. You got Tanisha rolling right now. Possibly a concubine is probably not a man's choice, but a woman given to or pursues a man that is not originally interested. I would say if a woman came and said, I want to be part of your house. Like, think this, men, brothers, if a woman came to you and said, I want to be part of your house, but I don't necessarily know if I fit in. But I would love to serve one of the wives. Wouldn't that not be a concubine? To me, it seems like it would be a concubine. But the interesting thing is that a lot of women would rather be out there by themselves than even be that. And I find that interesting.
Matthew chapter with the woman who would be less than a dog.
Less than a dog.
She would be the dog.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. For real. Because it would take an extreme level of humility, and that pride would stop that. That's the issue. Is that woman would say, well, I want, whatever it may be. And that's what women do today is they say, I want to be a wife. But you kind of look at it like, let's just be real. I mean, I'll put this to men. Are there men men, brothers, are there women out there that you would say are not wife material, period? An assistant wife. Can a woman with children be considered a concubine? If so, where in the scriptures did a concubine have children other than that husband's children? See, I'm gonna have to stand corrected on that one. Done. You got me. I stand corrected on that one. You don't see that. You don't see it where men just took in a bunch of children that weren't his. Especially if she decided to have children and then leave the man and then go somewhere else. You don't see that. You don't see that at all. All right, done. You're right. So that can't be a concubine then.
Now does
if he decides to wife her, being that we live in this society now where that is the case where women have
Other children from other men.
And the man decides to take her as a wife or as a concubine.
It almost sounds like that would fit the concubine status. You know, I think the issue is that here's the thing. When men don't have knowledge of all the options, boys, how y'all fighting over this? He went from 0 to 100. When men don't have the knowledge of all the options, and when women don't have knowledge of all the options that they have to be covered, and society kind of pushes that it's wife or nothing, everybody runs out there for wife. You know what I mean? That's so done. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you for that correction. I received that one. Man, that's good. This is why I love these conversations. So they always happen at the end of the stream when I'm tired.
I was gonna say in presentation because you mentioned Dr. Duna's book, and they were proving the point that in biblical times, because everyone keeps relating things back to biblical times as if the men and women were operating in that and living that, and you are not. You're coming from living all worldly and being brought back to Yah. The Bible says you were brought back to Yah, so you already come a certain way. That obviously the Bible actually leave it to a man's choice. I remember someone mentioned, they said, where in the Bible that a man can move a woman from concubine to wife, or say a woman with children can't be his wife or not his wife. That's or true. It's actually all the man's choice as long as he meets the biblical requirement of what it is to cover her. That's what I think that's the big issue that we have today, is that men aren't aware of monogamy, polygyny. They're not aware of concubine, wife. We're told wife and monogamy, and that's it. So that, I would say humbly that I believe that the whoremongering, sorry, Brother Gary corrected me on that one. The whoring would be significantly lower if people knew their options. Because you have a lot of women who are seeking, if it's wife or bust. And you're like, but you're not wife material. This should be real. I mean, all the brothers said they knew women who weren't wife material. Somebody's not wife material. The woman, she done boo-bopped everybody. She done drop kick half the dudes, and she may have changed. But I don't want, what I'm saying? I don't want somebody done drop kick somebody. So I think that if women were presented with all the information and men were presented with all the information, like when I present with the information, I'm like, wait a minute, I can repent and come to Yah. I don't have to be perfect before I come to Him. Oh heck yeah, I'll come to Him and let Him, chasten me and teach me. But in the world, they kind of teach you that you have to get yourself perfect and then come to Yah, or you can come to Yah and just stay dirty and never repent, never change. But if you were given the option, you can come to Him and you can learn, and you can keep His commandments and move in that. And move in that, you can be all right. No. We're not taught those things. We're not given all the choices. It's like they're telling you want a burger? Yeah, McDonald's or Burger King. But they never tell you can make your own burger at home. You probably like it more. It's just McDonald's or Burger King. You want your own homemade pizza? Yeah. Or they tell, me growing up, a young black man in the hood, and I wanted to be a farmer. Nobody ever said, go buy land. You can go buy land. They said you're gonna have to garden in the hood. So find an empty plot of land, and I'm like, so you're gonna kick you about to kick the niggas off the couch on the corner where everyone done chill, and I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna put a garden here, and they're gonna be okay with that. If I bring a tractor in here, it's gonna have to have rims and low jack because that shit's about to get jacked. Yeah. They're like, wait a minute, you grow weed, you that kind of gardener? Oh, wait a minute. I was talking about, the some greens, some yeah, I know about that green. I was talking about some purple green, but that purple too? Oh, you about to grow the purple. So I can't even grow a garden. They done smoked up my eggplant. They done took the corn and smoked it. Like what? Like, I got the best high. What you smoke?
that, what's it called? That corn on the cob, nigga. Like, oh my God, they smoke my garden. You can't grow shit nowhere with nigga.
Nowhere. So sad.
So when you were married, you were supposed to be with your virgin wife, and y'all were supposed to be together unless adultery or the husband passes on. And if she wants to remarry, she could. Absolutely. Absolutely. And things changed. And now there's a redefining. Like today's wife is not the same as a wife in biblical time. Completely different definition. Completely different definition. A man's not even the same thing. You gotta, look at the men today. These aren't biblical. These biblical men would probably kill some of the dudes that are walking around calling themselves men today.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I wanted to ask. You know how you were talking like when women will reach out before, and they will want to become like join the man's house, but they'll still have like when there's like timelines like, hey, the men not gonna wait all the time. They say, well, still gotta finish this and do this because they're not ready, and there's things. And at that point, can the man say, you can be my concubine, we have an arrangement like this, and you can still cover her while she works that out, and then if you ever felt she needs to be elsewhere.
When I read the book, like you said, like we said, we don't see any examples of a woman being brought from concubine to wife, but you don't see where it says it's against the law. And sin is against the law. Sin's not against my opinion. So if a man was with a woman and he felt, I'm going to bring you up to wife, I don't see where it says that he can't. Sister K. Moore said, I would submit that lots of women would be a better and successful wife with a more senior wife to show her how to thrive in marriage. And I was, Sister K, you are absolutely right. And I want to link that up with what you just said. Imagine a woman came in and said, I'm not wife material yet. Think about this, brothers. A woman came and said, I would like to be part of your house, but I know I'm not wife material yet. I would like to sit under your wife as like her servant, and learn from her and be your concubine, but learn from her. And then at the appropriate time, you could promote her to wife. I don't see where it says in the Bible you can't do that. And that would seem more, to be able to have that woman you can learn from, opposed to jumping in and saying, okay, now I want to be a wife, and you just tearing up your house because you don't know what the job of a wife is. Baby, so come on. What do y'all think about that, brothers? Because I really like what Sister K said, but the idea that what if a woman came in and learned from you, learn from the senior wife, and at whatever appropriate time, if you felt, you bring her up to being a wife. That's right. Brother J. Moore said it. Yes. Listen to Brother J. Moore said. Also learning how the husband runs his house. Because a lot of women come in and they have no clue how he runs his house. So imagine you came in as more of a concubine and you learned from the senior wife what he does in his house, how he runs his house. Because most women today are not being raised. What? Chef said you gotta ask him to promote your wife. You gotta ask her, right? And then Brother J. Moore said, without bothering the husband. So it won't be the husband's job to teach the concubine. She could learn from the principal wife. And Dun said on-the-job training. Imagine households like that. I would even submit, I wouldn't be surprised if that actually did take place, where women learn from women who have been there. So instead of jumping in and then saying, well, I want to be a wife, and then you end up messing up a lot, which I think a lot of sisters do. They come in, they have a zeal, but not according to knowledge. They have a zeal to want to be a good wife, but they haven't really been taught. So they get on-the-job training from the principal wife. And I know most men, he would love the idea of you being a wife. So when you're ready, he's going to promote you. But see, wait, sorry. But see, that word, we can't use promote, because women are only okay being promoted in the job. They have no problem coming into a job from the bottom and working their way up. But when it comes to a household, they want to come in at the top. And that's what leads to them being demoted out of the house. The word Jesus, used mostly translated as Moses permitted, also means Moses entrusted in the matter of divorce. Oh, I like that. He entrusted. We always say Moses permitted, Moses permitted divorce. What if he entrusted it? Like you weren't supposed to abuse it. You were trusted that you would divorce only when needed, and not just you divorce just to divorce. Yeah. Dun said, read the book of Titus. It lines up. It does line up. Let's go to that verse real quick. Can you grab me my King James or scriptures or Aramaic, either one? Huh?
I said I actually wonder how that reads.
Because Dun just said it lines up, and it does. Talking about the teaching the younger women. We've always thought that the younger women. What if the younger women were part of his household?
Oh. What if it was the older woman meant to be the woman in that house?
In that household. Oh, Dun putting this together. Let's go there real quick, and then we're gonna end it. I've been enjoying this time with y'all, but I gotta eat. And maybe we'll talk about this more next week. All right. Titus chapter 2. Let's look at verse 3. The aged women likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness, not false accusers, not giving them much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women and to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. What if that was what if a lot of women really did learn from, because it doesn't do any good for a woman to really learn from you if she's going to be joining another man's house. She can learn the principle, the simple things like, I'm going to be submissive. But if a woman's going to be going to Jay Morris's house, it doesn't do any good for her to be watching your videos. She needs to be asking Sister K about what Brother Jay Morris likes. And not even really Jay Morris. She should be asking Sister K, what does Jay Morris like? How does what does he like as far as food? What does he like as far as, how does he want me to dress? You know what I'm saying? So she could learn from Sister K what Brother Jay likes. But don't be talking to some other man talking about, I'm trying to get to Jay Morris's house. I like Jay Morris, but I'm over here talking to Sister Taylor.
I was trying to see what they used behind the wall.
Well, y'all conspiring.
He already know. This ain't his first live stream.
It'll be quick. Live stream 3 hours later. That'll always be calling me out.
Yeah, still on I was looking.
He always called me out every time. I think he got a timer. As soon as the stream ends, he'd be like, beep, 3 hours, 16 minutes, and 14 seconds.
It says an old woman and an older woman. I know it's presented before that the aged woman also, because remember back then, a lot of people's parents were also in the faith, so they were aged. They taught their.
But I'm just saying, as an option, it could be a woman that was already in his house.
Remember that family you saw, that Filipino?
Yeah.
Where it showed his first wife all the way down
all
to
the way down.
And she was like old now, and the younger was like late 19.
Aki Manolo said, what do you think about a wife that's about 10 years older or so? A wife that's 10 years older than her sister? If that's the case, brother, we got that here. We have that here. In between Sister Ebony and Sister Taylor is, 12 years? Is 12 years? 11 years between Sister Ebony and Sister Taylor, with Tanisha right in the middle. Sister Ebony is about to turn the big 40. Sister Taylor is 28, and then Sister T is 32.
Oh, I'm talking about what age he's on her own.
I want to
36.
see.
Oh,
No, I want to see if he got it on his
Oh,
own.
you ain't let me get
36.
mine.
The husband, I always attracted older women, but I still want children-bearing women. I'll say this, brother. My problem with older women is not that they're older than me. It's not that they're older than me. It's that all I care about is, are they teachable? That's my thing. Are they teachable? Are they humble? Will they be taught? If they're an older woman, will they be taught by younger women that know my house? Brother Gary has firsthand. He said, I tried it. It was a disaster. I don't have the experience in that. Brother Gary does. Oh, yeah, she was older than me. And it was a disaster.
5 years.
Brother Gary, I do have experience. You're right. It was a disaster.
Good remembrance right there, right?
You put me in flashbacks. I thought I was back in Nam again. I was back in the foxhole.
Oh God.
Oh, so the Taylor gave me some flashbacks. She's like, wait a minute, weren't you married to somebody older? I was like, I was back in Nam. The Viet Cong surrounded me. My foxhole. My foxhole buddy had already caught one to the leg and the arm. We were down to the last 10 bullets. I put the gun in my mouth. I was about to end it.
I believe it's in the Bible though that men also have wives older than them, because remember when the son, like if you marry someone and they die and you have to marry someone brother in the same line. Remember that scripture was like, oh, she has to wait for the next son.
Yeah, if you're
to
old,
become
yeah,
of age.
that's true.
He's
Yep.
younger now.
And when we had big families, you could have had a brother that was 20 years older than you, and you're responsible for marrying his wife because they didn't bear any children. Yeah, that's law. Sister Deborah L said, my head took a second wife. Was I ready? I think this is the wife of my brother Fearmonger. Was I ready? No. But I knew the scriptures and totally agreed with it. That right there, I'm going to start with that part I think is key. Do you agree with it? No. Does the Bible say it? Yes. So does your agreeing matter?
No.
No. The book matters. I think that happened for us, when I first. Yeah, that was Sister Deborah. I would say that was Tanisha also. She wasn't ready. Because really, what does ready even sound like in today's time? Ready? I'm not ready for that. What does that mean?
I just know it's gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I might as well start trying to get ready. The best I can.
But I knew the scriptures and totally agree with it. I had to transform my mind to what the scriptures said. I had to grow and learn what was biblical. So that means that Sister Deborah put her feelings and emotions on the back burner. And she's probably happier now than she ever was by herself.
She put it right there. Now she loves her.
Wait, I didn't see that comment. Oh, okay. I now have a sister wife and love her. We submit to our master and do the best we can do to meet our master's expectations. Praise y'all. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. Hallelujah. Look at that. The thing about Yah is that the thing that you think you want is probably the thing that's worse for you. You want to be the only this. You want this. You want this. And Yah has been spending so much time trying to take away that want. He can't take away your wants, but he's trying to show you that your want is not what you want, because your want will destroy you. If you go you women think that you want to go and marry Idris Elba, right? Taylor.
She didn't want to say this.
Also known as Bookbook. How many women I would love to be with Will Smith? I would love to be with Namario. I would love to be with I don't know, what's his Snipes?
No.
Oh, what's his real name? Shamar Moore.
Oh.
I would love to be with Shamar Moore. That dude got the most manicured beard ever.
If you ever
but think about it. So let's say you get him and you lose your soul. which is probably this, the story for most of them. They get that man, they lose their soul. He cheats on them, he's gone. You in polygyny anyway. You didn't even know it.
That's the worst part.
You was
already
fifth.
in polygyny.
You was fifth side chick. Fifth. And y'all's like, if I give you that, you will be defiled. You will be filthy. How much do you really want holiness now? It's kind of hard to want holiness when you got that money.
I've heard women actually say, I don't care if these men have a man, I will go be with them when they're stars and they have
Yep.
sort of status. Oh my!
Yep.
Someone said, "What about Sean?"
Wait. So, what about who? I don't know who it is. Actually, what about Sean?
Why would he say that?
What about Puff Daddy?
The Ooshkosh.
The Ooshkosh.
Ooshkosh King.
Tread on D said Will Ferrell.
No. Oh, Amanda put exactly what I was talking about.
What?
Judah told Tamar to wait for his youngest son to be old enough to marry.
That's right. That's right, Sister Amanda. Thank you.
Will Smith
That's right.
Is a cook.
A cup.
Oh, cup.
Cut. I just found out what that I found out how to say the word. I haven't figured out what it meant yet. Is that like the gag ball in the mouth? Has nothing to do with that.
It's when woman cheats on her husband.
Oh, okay.
When
And he just
sleep with
stays.
other men,
Yeah.
it's for
Okay.
him.
Oh. Yeah, he is. Well, I mean, 3 hours and 17 minutes. I think we're good.
Tootie's gonna be on.
It says 17.
No.
17. You have a glass on.
Yeah.
She's like 4 hours. 6.
It says a weak or servile man.
A couple.
A cook, whatever
A
that
cuck?
is. Yes, it's a weak or servile man, often used as a contemptuous term for a man with moderate or progressive political views. A man whose wife is sexually unfaithful, a cookful.
So basically, like most of the left, most of the Democrats. I heard that word oftentimes used for like progressive. You allow your wife to turn your son into a girl. You're a cuck. So that's what it means.
The one has a
Oh,
wife
shoot.
who's sexually unfaithful.
Oh, pussy man.
That's what it said. Weak.
What?
And it says his
I'm gonna
wife
start
is
using that word.
unfaithful.
Everyone's a cuck.
Only one thing.
Cuck. Two.
It's
Oh yeah. Cuck. That's 3 syllables now. It's getting deeper. Oh, but House of Lamar said like the men in those ministries. That's true. Palmetto said like the dudes that give their land and wives to Shep. That's a cuck. Oh shoot! Thank y'all, brothers. I'm using that word a lot. Wow.
The shit.
The Shep. Yeah. Anyways, I hope that from the polygyny conversation that then led to the concubine conversation, we're still going to have a live stream with talking about concubines. And if you would like to be on the live stream, send me an email. It's in the description of all my videos. Send me an email. I'll send you a link, and then you can come on to the live stream and actually show your face and speak like without having to type. And I think it'd be awesome. That's one of the things I said I wanted to do is kind of have an opportunity for other brothers to come on, especially because if you're a brother and you trying to expand your house, it's not a good idea to show your face. Let the sisters hear what you have to say. And I am not against that at all. Anyways, bless y'all for this extremely short and to the point stream without any tangents or digressions.
Yeah,
Obviously, I'm glad to have y'all on. Every once in a while, and it might be a nice thing to have y'all. What I might do is I might just send y'all a link for now, so y'all can be in a different room though. Never mind. I'll take it. Bless y'all. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.